What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, everybody. Happy to see you guys all rolling in so quickly. We've got a great show for you today. As you guys know, I've taken a couple weeks off Let's Get Nuts, especially with the demonetization of the channel, and we'll touch on that a little bit later as well. But also just because there's been some news here that hasn't inspired me like this week. And we've got a great show because we're going to talk about that terrible XO6 figure. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars, XO6, Jazz Inc., Comic-Cons. Have you ever met a celebrity and it was either a wonderful experience or a terrible one, like a never meet your heroes type of situation, and all of the above. So guys, stick around. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and of course, let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get 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 nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Getting nuts with you all on a Sunday. I am happy to be back, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us here today, getting nuts with us. Let's bring out our first co-host of the day, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 1, Adam 12, back in the house with us once again, buddy. Good to see you after 3 weeks, I think, since the last show. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
3 weeks. Great to see you. We last we chatted here in New York. We had the fake spring, then we had a little bit more winter, but now, knock on my wood desk here, we have the real spring, and looks like spring has sprung this week with announcements from our Hot Toys In Art 1/6 scale company. So excited to talk about it. It's gonna be a great show.
Hell yeah, a little bit of Alien tease in there as well, the 40th. So we'll definitely
Game
talk
over,
on that
man.
as well.
Game over.
It's crazy. I'm going to show some NECA stuff that they showed us earlier on Facebook as well, because I wonder if that's a bit of a precursor or a bit of a tease from what we can see from other toy companies, especially in 1/6. So we'll definitely touch on that as well. So, but dude, so happy to have you back. I think spring hopefully is here for us for the most part as well. I work for a painting company. We started painting exteriors about a week ago, and for the last 2 days we've had these like crazy winds and snows, like snow squalls. So we'll see how it goes. Can't paint in the snow. And if I can't do my job, then I might as well be here on YouTube with you lovely folks. So good to see you.
Can't paint stream.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you got a figure that we're going to talk about later when we're chatting on the Darth Maul. So stay tuned on that one there as well, guys. Let's bring in our next guest. Of course, this week we had a chance to see, well, a Weapon X. And for those of you who know, if you want to talk about Wolverine, you need to get Mr. Dave, Mr. X-Men Supreme on the show, and he is here with us today. Can't wait to get your opinion on the figure, buddy, but also, how you doing, man? It's been a little while. I think you're on the road working right now, eh?
Oh yeah. I just wrapped my weekend, and I am here for the nuts. And ready to do it. We might. No, I don't want to show that, but we might get saucy. I don't know. We'll see.
Got to get saucy for sure. Be careful you don't eat any of those like hotel nuts that are on those like weighted scales. All of a sudden you've paid $37 for a pack of peanuts.
Too late.
Oh,
it's wild.
It's too late.
It's too late. That's fair. Dude, so happy to have you here, man. Can't wait again for your take on some of the fun stuff today, as well as some cons, because I can't remember if you do cons, if I'm honest. So see how that all goes, and make sure you have your heated blankets, everybody, ready, because it's going to be a show. It's going to be a show. Last but certainly not least, the man who is an excellent videographer, wonderful photographer as well, huge heart in the community, of course. We got Mr. Philly, Mr. Figurecraft, back in the house with us once again as well, buddy. Good to see you here, man. How you doing?
Hello. That was my
Is that your Mrs. Doubtfire? Yes,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, decent.
It's good to be back. Thanks for having me. It's great to have you, see you here, and let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. We have a lot to go.
Hell yeah. And I see some of the comments in the chat here right now as well, guys. Some of you asking if I'm going to talk about the the XO6 Bones, I will. As you know, most of the time I do figure preview videos on Star Trek. I kept saying to people that one almost speaks for itself. I don't even know if I should do a figure preview video, but based on popular demand, we will talk about that a little bit today. And I know that Adam, you're a pretty big Star Trek fan as well. Philly, I think you like Trek, at least in passing, right? So we can chat to that figure a little bit today as well. We're gonna try not to shit all over it because there's some wins there too. There is some good, but I definitely have some thoughts. So stick around for that, guys. But let's start off as normal with our warm-up. We will say hi to the chat there pretty soon here as well. We got already 41 people live with us, so guys, thank you so much. If you don't mind hitting the like button, it would definitely be appreciated. And some very quick house cleaning as well. You might see a QR code up in the top right corner of your screen right now. Because the Ben Thomas Show was demonetized about 3 weeks ago by YouTube, out of nowhere, I'm going to do an updated video on that pretty soon, but my appeal was rejected, so I can't reapply for channel memberships and monetization now until July. It was an AI decision. They didn't give me anybody that I could actually speak with, but many of you guys suggested that I try the Buy Me a Coffee link if I want to still get some support towards, things like StreamYard cost and channel giveaways. So what I'm thinking about doing is for the first $500 that's raised through Buy Me a Coffee, and I can show the link here up on the screen as well. Once we reach $500, we're going to do a figure giveaway here on Let's Get Nuts. So for the first $500 that's donated slowly over the next couple months or however long it takes, we're going to do a channel member giveaway. Because I can't see channel members anymore, it's going to be the folks who are participating with us on Let's Get Nuts Sundays. So stay tuned for that as well, and I will give you guys weekly updates as that accumulates. But if you see that QR code, if you feel like you want to contribute, I love you faces. I appreciate you guys. It all goes a long way, but don't feel like you need to by any stretch as well. Warm up though, I got a chance to go to the Calgary Fan Expo yesterday. And I did some sneaky Pete pictures, as you guys can see here, because I was able to get a shot of William Shatner, which is pretty awesome. Very small man in person, if I'm honest. Like I'm 6'2", so I'm a pretty big guy as it is. But like he seemed really tiny. I mean, he's in his 90s, so I don't know what to necessarily expect. But I did also get a chance to spot Tom Welling there, who is a massive dude. Like definitely. In my heart of hearts, one of the best Supermans that's been out there, Mr. Smallville, right? We got to meet Josh Holloway, the girl that I'm seeing right now. She really likes Josh Holloway, and so do I. Of course, Lost is one of my favorite shows of all time, so we got a chance to actually get his autograph. And then this was, of course, the booth that was resonating with my heart the most, getting a chance to see Gates McFadden, or, of course, Dr. Beverly Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation, as well as the man himself, for me, Brent Spiner. I love Brent Spiner. Data has always been easily my favorite Star Trek character, I think probably of all time. And I got to actually go up and meet him, fist bump, talk a little bit about the Ben Thomas Show, actually. The cool thing was, boys, was that I have an Instagram picture right now on my Instagram where I compare the two different Data head sculpts. And I think that the TNG version is the better one over the First Contact head, but I got a chance to actually ask him what he thought was his best likeness, and he also confirmed he thinks the TNG likeness is superior. So, from the guy himself. Now, I did ask him, I was like, does XO6 give you guys a chance to, scrutinize the face sculpts or anything before they're released? He's like, no. He's like, they say they'll pay us, they say they'll give us a figure. This is all companies, not just even XO6. He's like, but they'll say we get a free copy of everything that we have our likeness rights attached to. He's like, it never happens. He's like, we never see any of that. We also pretty much never get paid for it either. He's like, it's half the reason I do the cons and everything, because we don't even see the money come through. He's like, it's a racket. And so I was like, interesting that's the case, at least from, again, the mouth of Commander Data here. He did say that he was like, everybody brings me this wonderful art all the time, and he's like, when I got my career started, if I was smart, I would have built a barn, because I would have had like a shrine to my face of like different artwork and stuff that people bring me over these cons over the years. He's like, so I'm happy you didn't bring me anything. And I was like, that's fair. But the reason I wanted to go into all that as a precursor was because I have the question for you boys here on the panel, as well as in the chat. If you guys have ever met a celebrity, have you ever had an encounter that you either were thankful for, or kind of like, oof, that guy was not, or gal was not as cool as you thought they might be. For me, that was last year with Christopher Lloyd. He was not super friendly, not very welcoming, barely spoke to me at all, kind of signed my paper and just kind of brushed it off. Whereas I actually felt like I got a chance to actually talk to Brent, and he was very warm and very engaging. And so while I love Christopher Lloyd still, even despite that interaction, it's be careful if you meet your heroes type of thing, because they can let you down. Adam, you've had a chance to meet lots of different celebrities over the years at cons. Tell us a little bit about some of these photos.
Yeah, so before I talk about this one photo, it all really started for me when I was really a little kid, and my dad, I really had one of the greatest dads in the world, and he brought me to comic book and Star Trek sci-fi conventions when I was a kid. And I remember, I was in elementary school and in middle school, and he got like whatever I don't even want to know what he paid at the time. Probably nothing, peanuts to what you pay now to do these shows. We went to get lunch. He paid for like an exclusive lunch, and I sat next to Mark Leonard, who played Sarek in cool. Star Trek and Star Trek Next Generation, and John Delancey, Q. So and Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov. So those are like awesome experiences, just doing that with my dad. And it's something. When I got married, I remember like at the time when I started dating my wife, there weren't as many women who go to the cons, and it was it's still predominantly guys now, but there's a lot more females who go. And I remember like I would bring my wife just to say, hey, I got a girl, guys. And it's changed now. I mean, I'd say like half the audience is now female at these conventions, if in some cases, if not more. And so like the last few years, I brought the local cons I bring my daughter to. Last year, we went to the Fan Expo in Boston. You can see here, this is a great experience, meeting Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. And, you don't have a lot of time. You kind of grip and grin. And you try to think of something. I always try to think of something like to maybe bring a smile to their face. Everyone's going to talk about Star Wars. So, like, I know my wife is a big fan of Ewan McGregor singing from Down with Love and Moulin Rouge. And so she said to him, we want to see you in more roles where you sing. And he's like, I'd love to. They need to give me the roles. And then I said to Hayden Christensen, he's in a terrific movie called Shattered Glass, which is a biography of a newspaper reporter who fabricated his stories. And I said, you were like fantastic in that. And he's like, oh, thank you so much, man. I love doing that movie. And, in terms of like, and then you showed Giancarlo Esposito, and he looked very serious and kind of like not happy in that photo. So he's had a very prolific acting career. And, after that photo was taken, I shake his hand, we're, going out, and he is in Do the Right Thing. And I said, man, you're awesome in Do the Right Thing. And he gave me a huge grin, which it's not captioned in that photo, but he loved that I mentioned that.
That's awesome.
People for many years talked about, you saw previously Shatner, and that was a screening of The Wrath of Khan that they did here, and they showed the film, and then he met people beforehand, and so it's about 8 years ago, 9 years ago. You can see my daughter's a little bit younger there, like elementary school age, and the one thing you always hear that Shatner might be a little standoffish. Some people, like some of his former co-stars, said he was kind of a jerk, and so I was a little wary. I'm like, what's he gonna be like? And my daughter, she said, oh, I love Captain Kirk. He gave her a big hug, and I was like, wow. So like I was like, wow, this to take the time, and like you're not supposed to, for him, you're not supposed to shake his hand or anything like that, but he shook her hands and he gave her a hug. Now the experience I had that I was kind of disappointed, most of my experience has been very positive. At the same Comic-Con last year, we met, I don't have a picture of it here, but we met John Rhys-Davies, who played Sala, and we probably spent 10 minutes talking to him, and also he played Gimli in Lord of the Rings, among other many roles, Sliders, and he was so great, so down to earth, so genuine. The one negative experience I had was San Diego Comic-Con 2003. We saw Quentin Tarantino, and I love his movies, but in person, he was just so arrogant and full of himself, and he was obnoxious. After meeting him, I've seen every one of his movies since then, but my opinion of him significantly decreased.
Shifted.
He was someone who really rubbed you the wrong way. Just very conceited, more than your usual star, who's they all have egos, but this guy was just out of control. But beyond that, when I go to these things, you kind of mentioned about what Brent Spiner was telling you, that they're not necessarily making money from the licensing of the figures, and so they're making money going to the show. So particularly, for most people, a Brent Spiner, the average person might know who Data is, but they don't necessarily know the real guy's name. So us nerds and geeks and all that know this stuff. But they could probably walk into a supermarket, and if they have a baseball cap on or something like that, not everyone's going to recognize them.
For sure.
So this is the way they make some money, and the way I see it, they're doing their job. They're trying to make a living. I'm a fan. I appreciate what they do, but they're like no different than you or me. They're just doing their job. And I always try to say, like, I really, I enjoyed your work, it meant something to me, and be professional about it. Try not to geek out too much.
Well, we were talking to Josh Holloway. One of the things I said to him was like, hey, like, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but Lost is one of my favorite shows of all time. I loved it. And he's like, oh, dude, he's like, I loved it too. That was a great job. He's like, but my appearance on the Community, he was like, the cool thing about being on the Community for a couple of those paintball episodes was that I guess Chevy Chase had reached out to him directly and asked him if he wanted to be on the show because he was also a fan of Lost. And he's like, despite some of the controversy around Chevy Chase, and a lot of people don't like working with him anymore, he was like, when I got the call from Chevy Chase that like he wanted me to be on the show, I was like, how could I say no? He's like, so that was a really cool job as well. But you kind of nailed it, dude. Like, as I was talking to these folks, they're all smaller people than you expect. Like, when you see them on camera, they're kind of larger than life, it feels like. But when you see them in person, you're like, oh, you are literally just a straight up person, right, in the world, right, just doing your job. But also, like, they get excitement about certain things as well, and seeing some of the fan excitement, I think. And while that must be exhausting to sit there for an entire day of folks telling you how much they love you and all these things, it's at the same time like I would hope that would also be rewarding to a certain extent. And because I was nervous, like I'm in sales, like normally I talk to people all the time that I don't know, but I was really nervous walking up to Brent because I wanted to tell him that I like this podcast, and I wanted to tell him that I like Data, of course, and I appreciate that he's there and doing the stuff. But like I was like I felt like I couldn't say anything. I was so nervous, but he was chill about it. So
we once saw Karen Allen, who played Marion Ravenwood in the Indiana Jones movies, and my wife to this day gives me the business because she said I sounded like, I don't know if you guys remember this Chris Farley sketch that used to be on Saturday Night Live, where he would be like in an elevator or something, and whoever the guest was that night on SNL, Sting or Paul McCartney, and Chris Farley would be like, remember to Paul McCartney, remember you were in the Beatles? Yeah, that was cool. Remember Let It Be? Yeah, that was cool.
Let It Be.
And I saw Karen Allen, and I'm like, I liked you in Starman. So
that's amazing.
I was like, you sounded so pathetic. So ever since then, I try to like think about that. Like, I don't want to sound like Chris Farley.
Hell yeah, that's fair. We got a couple great comments here I'll read through before I go to you, the other two boys here on the panel. Kevin says, every time I met Carrie Fisher, she was great to her fans. Very awesome. Tiny Art Guy says, I met David Prowse while hawking my gear at Bournemouth Comic-Con a decade or so ago. Super friendly and engaging. You love to see.
Yeah.
I love to see that. And then Moose here said, met Brent, must have had a bad day. Hey, I mean, we're all human. We all have bad days, right? And so maybe I just caught him on a good day. I was also like one of the first in line, so he was pretty fresh by the time I got up there. Kevin also says he met Mark Hamill in 1978 was a kid, and he was nice, but then met as an adult. Was not so nice, so hate to see that. Met Charleston Heston and Linda Harrison at a very rare fan signing event.
Wow.
Both extremely cordial. That's a crazy one.
That is.
Also Also, big thanks to Honest Hansel. He sent already a $40 coffee to the Buy Me a Coffee link. So, guys, thank you, dude, so much for that. He's a fellow Albertan here in Canada as well. So, really, really appreciate your support, buddy, as always. Let's see here. I saw Mandy in the chat. Love Mandy. Good to see her here. She says Anthony Daniels was really bossy, but funny. And Katie Sackhoff is a sweetheart. Let's be honest, right? Starbuck or Bo-Katan or some of the great ones. But Katie Sackhoff in November got a huge hug, and she was chatting for a minute or so. So that's awesome. Dave, have you been to any cons, or have you ever met any celebrities? And if yes, tell us about it. If not, is there any celebrity you would love to meet?
I worked in Guitar Center in San Diego for about 3 years, and we got several people coming through there that, you're a music fan, these people, like the guys from POD are local. They would be in every now and again. Got to kind of know those guys a little bit. They were really cool.
Blink?
What's that?
Did you see Blink 182?
I didn't see anybody from Blink. I've heard they've been in there maybe once or twice, days off, I don't know, but I never saw any of them myself. Stevie Wonder showed up once. That was pretty cool. His dude called and they were in town for something or other, and he's like, I need an amp for my hotel room. And our manager and I was like, hey, look, we're about to close. Somebody's coming in, big name, I don't know who, but their manager called, and we were like 15, 20 minutes from closing. And then friggin' this whole entourage shows up, and it's friggin' Stevie Wonder, and they're in the guitar room, friggin', checking out amps. And there were like maybe 10 or 15 people in the store, and they were all like, just crowding him. And he was so cool to everybody. And like, he was just really neat. He was really nice to everyone. Zach Wilde showed up for a thing. He was really cool. He's a giant.
Zach Wilde. I don't know if I know him.
He's best known for his work as Ozzy's guitarist.
Yep.
He always had the bullseye guitar.
Oh yes, okay. I know exactly who that is.
Black Label Society, all of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But outside of that, like, for me, it was going to Comic-Con and meeting my favorite comic artist, J. Scott Campbell. I've loved that guy ever since I was a kid, reading the comics that he did the art for. And I got to go, I went in 2011, and he was there in San Diego. So I went to go meet him, and he was the only reason I wanted to go. And I got there, and I'm like, I like to wear, a bit of swag, and I dress a certain way a lot of the time. And I got there, and it was like looking in a mirror, man. It's like he got in my closet and was just wearing all of my shit. It was great. like immediate kinship with my favorite comic artist was the best thing I could possibly ask for. And he signed a Danger Girl photo for me, and he remarked it. It was really cool. I have it hanging on my wall still. That was really the best one right there, was meeting him. That was great. If I didn't take the path that I took, I was really leaning toward comic art. I was drawing a lot, and I really wanted to be a comic artist when I was a kid. And I was really thinking about it, but I ended up doing other stuff. So that was really cool.
You still draw for fun? Is that still something you do on the side?
Not so much anymore. No, I did for years, and you know how it goes. A lot of everybody here, you get married, you have kids, you have a career, a lot of stuff, you don't have a lot of time for that you used to. And, even after like getting divorced and getting more time to myself and getting out of Navy and all that, I got into music, and that became my thing. So I kind of just that was like my outlet for stuff for a long time. And I just never kind of went back to drawing. Every now and again, I'll sketch something, but it's just not a thing for me anymore.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I was happy with it, though.
Get back to it too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Too, if you ever have some time. So
every once in a while, I'll doodle something.
Dave, draw me
Johnny
a Wolverine.
Chronicle says he saw this too. Yeah, right. Draw me Wolverine.
Right.
Yes.
I'll
go to the same photo
Wolverine.
up with Ewan and Hayden. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Mr. Philly, same question, buddy. Have you? I got to imagine you've met some celebrities over your time, but if not, is there a favorite or a wish list celebrity you'd still like to meet at some point in your life?
Believe it or not, I haven't met many people. I do have two situations that I like to present and show you real quick, if you don't mind.
Of course.
There was both of them are at San Diego Comic Con, which usually it's pretty easy to bump into people that they're in the entertainment industry. But let's see if I can find it here. So where did it go? It's odd. 2015. What's going on here? Sorry, I thought I had it open, but I guess I did. Okay, I guess I'll share the screen. So 2015. Do you see it?
Not yet.
20.
Oh, there it is.
Actually, okay. So we got the first one. Do you see? Okay, let's go with the first one. 2015. I had Jim Lee, who is one of my biggest. He's my biggest inspiration in the comic book industry. I also like Dave, wanted to be a comic book artist, and I follow these gentlemen, Jim Lee, Wildstorm Productions. The whole when they started with Marvel and they created Image Comics. That was for us, that was the thing back in the 90s. So, J. Scott Campbell came from Jim Lee. He hired him personally. They worked together for so long. They're an amazing, talented group, and Jim Lee became obviously the DC, the publisher for DC Comics, and the guy's down to earth, humble. He's so nice, very approachable. His wife was really nice too. She's actually his wife ended up taking the picture of both of us, and he signed a few things for me and totally chill. This is back in 2015 when I was 20 pounds lighter and 10 years younger. But really nice guy, down to earth. And I saw recently a post that he's going through some health issues, and I wish him prayers and luck that he's doing better. He's been in the industry for so long, and he's a hard worker, and unfortunately he's been going through some health problems, and I hope he does better and he gets better. So my shout out to Jim Lee out there. Really nice guy, down to earth, and he's such an amazing, talented artist, as we all know. So the second one was actually 10 years after last year. Like I said, 20 pounds heavier and a few donuts in there. But as you can see, you can recognize a few people here. On the left, we got Calvin, low key collector, and then Jose Plus, Jose Hernandez on the right. And then you got Andy Muschietti. Awesome guy. He is such a nice guy. He is, Latino. So him and I were talking in Spanish, and I told him how I love what he did with some parts of the Flash, and I felt that was unfair though it was treated. And I kind of had a feeling that he was a bit kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry. I said, you don't need to apologize. You did your best, and sometimes these things don't come out as you expect them to. But I was telling him about the current Dairy show, how it was doing so great, and you did an awesome job with that. Yeah, of course. And he's amazing. I mean, he's so talented, and his wife too. She wasn't there, but he was such a, we talked for a few minutes. We were just hanging out and walking around the show, and he was really nice to just, hear me out. And he, made eye contact. He wasn't looking around, and the guy was just on his own. He was just chilling, walking around the floor and just looking at stuff, and very approachable. Calvin, shout out to Calvin. He's the one that spotted him, because we were trying to look for people, and I think it was really funny. Before this, I saw a guy with a cowboy hat that looked like Dave Filoni, but ended up being an impersonator. I thought it was him the whole time. Took a picture of him, and I was all excited. And then somebody told me that that's not really him, but it looked like
Dave Filoni cosplayer. That's hilarious.
Dave Filoni cosplayer. It was hilarious. But Calvin ended up playing, Andy, and Andy was very approachable, very nice. So those are my two situations. And I haven't been in a situation where I've had a guy that's kind of not really a person you should meet. I hope I don't get that soon, but I hear horror stories for that, and I just unfortunately it's a sad situation, but you don't know what you're gonna get when you meet a hero. So but yeah,
I think I would have been devastated. I think I would have been devastated if Trent was a dick, to me at least, because I've loved the guy since I was a kid. And I mean, my mom was who got me on Star Trek when I was a kid, because she would watch it a lot. My dad didn't understand Star Trek; he just didn't really care. But he took me to Star Trek Nemesis, the film, in theaters, and that's the film. Spoiler alert: when Data actually dies and gets replaced by B4, and I was devastated because I was like, there is no replacing Data. Like, they killed him for no reason. That was the worst. And I was young, but oh my god, that death stuck with me literally until Picard season 3, where they kind of like bring him back in a hybrid role sort of thing in Picard season 3, and that was rewarding in itself. But yeah, oh man, devastating. But guys, let us know in the chat, or if you're watching on replay, or put it in the comments as well. Is there a wish list or bucket list celebrity you would love to meet? Maybe alive or dead. I mean, you know, obviously it can happen, but is there anybody that you're like, I still absolutely want to meet this person in, you know, in your lifetime, if there's an opportunity to do so, or as somebody that passed that you would have loved to meet? Put it in the comments there. Let's keep moving on. I got one more little entertainment piece of news real quick before we get into all of our 6-scale news. And guys, we have 70 people watching live already in the first 30 minutes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on Sunday. If you don't mind hitting the like button, if you can, that'd be dope. Really appreciate you guys for sure. And Philly, you're back to full strength on the screen here, buddy. So you were frozen during your monologue there, even though I could hear you, no problem. So all good. Clayface finally showed its first trailer, and oh my god, this definitely does look like it's going to be confirmed that it is a horror movie. It's not just a comic book, a scary movie. It is actually being said that it will be a horror movie within the new DC universe here. Clayface, I think, is a really cool character to start off with, especially in terms of kind of a horrifying aspect of it. If you look through the screenshot here that I've got on the screen, you can see definitely some similarities between at least what they're showing in the trailer to, you know, one of the greatest shows of all time, Batman the Animated Series, which I absolutely loved, but as well as some of the comic book inspired imagery and stuff like that, and writing around the character of Clayface. I really recently watched the Harley Quinn show as well, and Clayface is kind of a goof in that show, but he's also pretty funny, and it's fun to have him on there as well. But this is making me want to collect a Clayface figure. I'd be curious to see in 6-scale if they dive into this character, like some of the morphed head sculpts we might end up receiving, if that's the case. Like, lots of excitement there. But I was just curious for you guys, if you've seen the trailer, did this amp up your excitement? Even if maybe you're not a huge fan of the direction of where the DC universe is going, is this one got you excited, or are you nervous? Are you still kind of holding back your excitement and your anticipation? Where are you at, Mr. Adam, on Clayface here?
I always thought of Clayface as kind of a B tier, even a C tier Batman villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery. But first of all, I think the trailer is excellent. Like, this has really got me interested in seeing this. I was interested in seeing this before the trailer for the simple reason that it's being directed and I think written by Mike Flanagan. And Mike Flanagan is an outstanding horror writer, director. He did the criminally underrated Dr. Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor's in it, Rebecca Ferguson.
I never saw that. I never saw
you gotta see. I think it's on HBO Max. It is well worth your time. It's, like I said, it's criminally underrated. I know some people think, Jesus, you're gonna do a sequel to The Shining. It's really good, really good. He also did several Netflix horror series. The house, was it The House on Haunted Hill? And he did Midnight Mass, which is phenomenal. With
that's such a good show.
Midnight Mass, just great. You got it. That's another great.
Man, that's a good show.
It's a mini series, well worth your time. So the fact that you have Mike Flanagan involved in this, I'm like, yeah, I'm there. I'm gonna see this. So looking forward to it. I'm curious if we're gonna see a Batman cameo in it. I don't know if they're gonna kind of secretly have his introduction in this, how that's gonna play in. But whatever the case, whether Batman's in it or not, the fact that Flanagan's doing it, I'm interested.
Oh yeah. Well said, dude. Well said. What about you, Philly? Any? I know you're a huge Batman fan, obviously. Do you agree with Adam? Is Clayface more second tier? Could this be brought up to first tier for you? And what's your anticipation level looking like?
Well, I think, body horror movies have always been popular, but I think until recently when we had the Substance and other situations that were, didn't take a Grammy or took some awards, but it was really popular. So I guess this is why they greenlit this one, because it's similar, and it's an opportunity to, give a Batman villain a rated R movie aside from Joker. I mean, we're talking about the Penguin and other villains, Mr. Freeze, but we got a Penguin, but it was a TV show, and it's still great. I love it. So Clayface would be obviously a good choice. I do hope they take a page out of the animated series storyline, because that was such a beautiful storyline. It was very dramatic. It was ahead of its time. People watching at 12 years old, 13 years old, it was kind of dramatic and it was intense for somebody to see that. And I remember very clearly, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's about the actor that, feels like he's useless, and he goes out of desperation just to do whatever he needs to do in order to keep the show running. And I think hopefully it's similar to this, and there's some variations, but I also heard that, through James Gunn, that we will be getting the monster. Obviously there are some signs in the trailer. I believe there was a shadow when he had the mace. He ended up making the mace. It wasn't as big, but I think they're going to get pretty close to the comics or to the show. And that's exciting, because it's something that, you've always wondered, and it's always exciting to see something you grew up in animation, to see it in real life afterwards. It's that feeling doesn't go away, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it does, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a success because of the body horror situation. And, you said, Adam said it was a good writer. So looking forward to it. And even if we don't get Batman, I'm still excited for it. So we'll see.
1000%, dude. 1000%. And I mean, I love Batman the Animated Series. That's why I wanted to pull this up, because I've got several squares up above me on the shelf here, so that's my animated series line. This week I was able to pull in and get the newest options here, so the 4-pack with a Build-A-Figure for the Clock King, which is cool. So, but I mean, I would love to see DC Direct do a Clayface in there as well. I know that the Mondo Clayface was awesome. I think he'd be a little too big alongside these, but you could probably pass it off as he's just grown, you know what I mean? It's just a massive Clayface alongside it, so that could be pretty cool too. So potentially, but yeah, no, I mean, well said in terms of the film as well. Body horror for sure has been a huge popular piece there lately. That Substance film, I mean, my God, it went places I was not necessarily expecting. So don't watch it with kids in the room though, because there's a lot of hypersexuality in there. But awesome film otherwise. Mr. X-Men Supreme, Mr. Dave, any thoughts here on Clayface? What are your thoughts on horror films as well? Are you a horror guy?
I'm not really. I've never been so much into horror. I was a kid in the 80s, and a lot of other kids in the 80s. I watched, the movies that were happening, Freddy and Jason and Chucky and all that, and they were fun. But it's nothing that's really stuck with me. But stuff like this, I do hope they do more of a familiar take, because again, the animated series is such a huge touchstone for a lot of people as far as Batman lore. It's, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure a lot of people agree, it's one of the best adaptations of Batman outside of the comics that we've ever seen. Nothing else touches the animated series for me as far as Batman outside the page. And Clayface in that was spectacular. And I hope that they kind of, pick up on some of that, what they did there. But knowing who it is that's directing it, knowing, what we've been seeing so far from this universe, I have no doubt that this is going to be a home run. There's no way, unless they just monumentally screw this up, it's going to be so easy for them to do a good job with this, I think. And who knows? I don't know who it is, if it's supposed to be Basil Carlo, or if it's supposed to be Matt Hagen, or whoever our Clayface is here. But it's gonna be cool. It would be cool if they cameoed Batman, if they introduced him for this universe in this movie. That would be fantastic. You kind of have to, if we're with Batman, you know, where they keep saying we are, then he's gonna be paying attention. So yeah, he's got to be there. So that would be cool. If not, that's still fine. But I think this is gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
I was interested to see how they were gonna bring it from like comic pages or animated pages to like in a live action verse, especially if they were trying to keep it real and gritty, similar to what like the Matt Reeves Batman universe has done, even with the Riddler, right? Where it's like you could see this person being a real person in the world, right? Going through some shit, and like this does look pretty gritty, if I'm honest. So I'm excited for it. I like the fact that it's actually legit a horror movie, not just a stretch of it, and we'll see how it goes, guys. So I want to get into the 6 scale news. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat here as well. Just some quick housekeeping once again. The channel's demonetized, so if you were previously a channel member, I can no longer see you as members. This was the list of channel members I had 3 weeks ago. We've lost 21 members since YouTube sent out the email to say that the monetization was shut down. So if you do want to support the Ben Thomas Show, it would be greatly appreciated. Always, you can click the buy me a coffee link. I'm probably not actually going to buy coffee with it, like I said at the beginning of the show to everybody just showing up right now. Once we achieve the first $500, we're going to do a figure giveaway on Let's Get Nuts. So as of right now, we've had two people send in what's it called, a monetization link. So thank you guys so much for being so generous with your funds. I do really appreciate you guys. And as I said, what I'll do here going forward on future Let's Get Nuts shows is I will show the amount here just like this, who's contributed. So Honest Hansel and One Adam 12, thank you so much, as well as the total amount, so that for full transparency, when I hit that $500 marker there, we can do the figure giveaway that show, which would be really fun. So, but all that to say, let's say hi to everybody in the chat as we always do.
Is that everyone? I can put it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. Already have 71 people in the chat live with us. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on Sunday, guys. We got One Adam 12 in the chat with us. Tiny Art Guy, let's crack some nuts. You love to see it there. Thalia Meyer with us as well. Honest Hansel, thank you again, good sir, for your generosity today. Valkyrie Magnus with us. Hey guys, let's get nuts. Valkyrie was supposed to be with us today. Unfortunately, sounds like he was having some login challenges, so he's with us in the chat, which you love to see. X-Men Supreme here on the panel and in the chat with us as well. We've got Mandy, love to see her here as well. I was on the 6 scale shills last week, which was a really fun show on the Saturday. It was a 4-hour live stream on the Saturday. So if you guys missed it, go back, watch it. Really great episode with those guys, and really lovely folks on that channel. So definitely support them as well for me, please. Philly Z here with us in the chat as well. Figurecraft is still your channel name, isn't it? Right? Correct, Philly? You changed
No,
it. Okay.
I recently changed it.
Okay, I thought so.
I've noticed that, you know, Figurecraft is what I do. Philly Z is who I am, and obviously you see my face now, so I figure it'd be more personable to get to know me personally than just, you know, a title and a hidden face. So yeah.
I love that. I don't get to watch every stream, so you've probably told people that already, so I apologize for being late to the news. But
No,
when I tried to tag you in the Instagram today, I was like, where the hell is Figurecraft? So I was super confused.
Sorry.
We got Jag Live. XO6, do you like Forrest Kelly? We are going to talk about that in 2 pieces of news from now, so stay tuned on that one, my friend. We got Guito here in the chat with us. Welcome back, Ben. Good to see you, my friend. Red Priest here with us as well. Happy to have you back, my friend. Thank you so much. Collection Obsession, as well as Mr. S Beam CF. You love to see it there. Sterling Fine Art, thank you so much for being here today, my friend, as well. Appreciate you. Mr. Moose Dream, as always, checking in to see if we were doing a show today. Probably the one person who's most disappointed every week when we don't do a show. So Moose, I hope you're having a good show, buddy. I hope you're having a good day. Love you, bud. I hope you're doing well, man. We got Yomo in the chat. What's up, my friend? Good to see you back with us as well. Let's see here. Ryan Dean, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you here as well. Let's see, Clinton Martin in the chat with us. We got NW Collector. We also have Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro, with us here. You'll love to see all of you guys here. NW Collector, always happy to have you here. Mr. Luis, great panel, everybody. Mr. Pop Culture Relics, go over and check him out as well. Awesome dude. Can't wait to get you back on the show, buddy, here at some point. I think that's most of the folks here. We got Kevin Collectibles. I like that there. That's awesome. Dream and Visions, good to see you here as well, my friend. We got King Dingaling, as always. It wouldn't be a show without you, buddy, of course. Miss Smithy 82, love to see it here. Said met Mark Hamill in 2016. Total jerk. Hate to see it. Dub Toys with us, good to see you here as well. Johnny Chronicles, you'll love to see it. So many great regulars here in the chat. We got Detective. I'm just gonna say it, Detective, because I don't think I can say it in all those characters and letters, but I know what you're trying to go with. Camille. My apologies. Sorry to butcher that. It's Monday morning here in the Philippines. Good to see you. Thank you for being with us. As always, I appreciate you guys. We got Anita in the chat as well. Georgia PKMN says met Sam Jones, aka Flash Gordon. Talked for almost 15 minutes. Really nice and great in person. Love to see that there. I think that is almost everybody. Give me a quick scroll. Thanks for being patient, guys. Yep, let's get into the 6 scale news. You'll love to see it here. All right, I want to touch on this really quickly. Now, I know this is already progressively becoming old news, so we won't spend too much time on this, but I wanted to talk a little about the Catwoman from Jazz Inc., mostly because, over the last kind of 6 months, we've been getting these slow drips of news with regards to what this figure is going to look like, when we might actually finally get these in hand as collectors. I myself have deposits down on the Battle Damage, the Clean, as well as the Mayor Penguin, as well as their Batman Animated Series animated body style figure. So I'm pretty in with Jazz Inc. right now, considering we haven't got actually any figures from them yet. But one thing that myself and my buddy Marco, aka 16Fix, often talk about on our Tuesday night show on Collecting Weekly with the boys there, is controlling the message. Because I think something that Jazz Inc. feels right now, that I feel like they're struggling with, is a consistency of how they're showing photos and how they're kind of trying to give updates to collectors. I think that their hearts are in the right place. And I think that the figure here doesn't look bad. The posing isn't wonderful, but that's one thing to be said. Like, I don't expect them to be professional posers. The rest of us handle our figures all the time, so I'm not going to be critical of that. I think the face sculpts look here pretty good from what we're seeing, but I think it's the messaging that comes in. So this was popped up on Jazz Inc.'s Facebook there the other day from Sean Dabbs, who I believe is a contributing artist to this figure, and says here, focal length. So in regards to the differences in these two photos, it's all about focal length. Because you're closer away from the subject, the more focal length or thinner it appears to be. The further away the camera is, the wider the subject appears to be. So no, the head is not more fat. It's just that the camera was further away. Okay, I'm on board with that. Fine, totally agree. I'm not a professional photographer. Philly might be able to speak to this a little bit as well. But this is where I go back to controlling the message. I think is important. Because if they have these sculpts in hand, and they have the ability to recreate a photo, then why not recreate the photo from prototype to final? Same background, same focal length, same distance from the camera, same. If I can look the same on every Ben Thomas Show episode I've ever done on the Ben Thomas Show, and I am not a professional YouTuber and all the things, then why can't somebody set up a camera and have the exact same photo if that's how they want to show it? Because otherwise, there's a lot of people who will think that this explanation is just bullshit. They'll just go, oh, no, they're just trying to sell us something, sell us an idea, sell us a concept. That doesn't necessarily equal regular collectors out there who just want to know what they're waiting for, what they're spending their money on. This is expensive in terms of a hobby. And so my challenge to Jazz Inc. here is be more consistent with your messaging. I don't think any of this looks bad. And I've been a supporter of Jazz Inc. since their inception. I've said on this show before, I don't think Jazz Inc. can afford to fail. Their whole business name is attached to this. Jazz Inc. Dioramas is attached to this. It's not like InArt being a separate from Queen Studios. If InArt had failed, they could have just shut the doors, and InArt and Queen Studios as a statue company still could have existed. These are all called Jazz Inc. And so if these end up being terrible, it will stain their reputation and name in the 6-scale community, and people will lose their mind. They cannot afford to fail here. But they also can't afford to give bad messaging or inconsistency when it comes to showing their product, because people are pulling these apart. And for better or for worse, that type of negative press, I think, is going to hurt them more than it's going to help them. So that's what I wanted to say about this. But I'm really curious, Philly, I'll go to you first, because you take a lot of photos and a lot of videography, and I know that you're a Jazz Inc. supporter as well. You got some of those vehicles right in behind you there right now. What are your thoughts on how we're seeing Catwoman presented to collectors and the messaging around it?
All the things that you've mentioned, there's definitely truth to that, and I agree with them. And obviously, there is no written manual on how to roll a figure out, but there is, like, common sense and seeing what others do. And, to me, I just saw it as the owner of the company being super excited, super stoked, and just trying to get, some excited stuff. And sometimes that backfires, and it's okay, because everybody doesn't have the same opinion, the same perception. And, I take this as a learning experience. But yeah, I mean, perhaps get somebody hired as a marketing and have him help him get, that I actually suggested that before, and help him kind of roll out, have a process in place, how usually Hot Toys does it and other companies do. But this is his baby. He's been putting a lot of work into this, and he knows that, he can fail, and he's doing the best he can. And to me, like I said, just wait till you get the figure in hand, and then you can judge from there. And I'll be judging from there too. And unfortunately, we had a few people that got discouraged from this, and that's unfortunate. But it's their money. They collect what they love, and if they don't like this and they want to collect something else, they're entitled for that. There's nothing wrong with that. Collect what you love, and don't collect what you don't. And if you don't like it, just don't don't put down the people that do. It's just common sense. People don't talk bad if everybody has an embarrassing kind of thing they like. Some people still watch cartoons. They still eat cereal. It's certain things that you like that since you were a kid and people make fun of, and it's like, come on, we're all kids and deep down inside. So again, there is no process. I think he's just going through the whole process, and people have their own ways of doing things, and sometimes when you're trying to make a good intention, it backfires in some certain ways. And but yeah, there is some truth to what collectors are talking about, though. Have a process in place, be consistent, and know what the collectors are how they're gonna react when they see certain things, and
For sure.
basically get us a good camera, get us good pictures. And I think somebody had a suggestion that a good way would be like put the production and the prototype next to each other, do the exact same photo, and have the people guess which is which. I think was it you that said that? I think that was you that said that, or somebody said that. But
yeah,
it's a great idea. I mean, there's always input, and what I love about Yost is he does take that input from collectors, and he does adjust and adapt. So give him some credit. Wait till you get it in hand, and we'll go from there. So.
For sure. And I hear the people out there screaming at you though, Philly, like, wow, but like giving them some credit is one thing, but giving them my money is a different thing, right? If I've never had one of these in hand and I don't know what the quality is going to feel like,
that's their choice.
That's tough not to swallow, right?
That's the one thing too.
Right.
That's their choice, and that's so totally okay. It's like nowadays, you got to be careful with your money. There's a lot of people, sellers out there, they'll take your deposits, and all of a sudden they'll be gone the next day. I totally understand. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. I totally understand. But for me, based on my experience, I have 6 or 7 things I've purchased from him, and every time I get something, I know, right? Somebody said, "Well, they're not figures; they're vehicles." I understand that, but it doesn't matter. You still have the same person behind the work. You still have the same, people putting in the love and care. It'll translate into a figure. But like I said, a lot of his writing on this, and I believe in Yost, and some people don't, and that's okay. Until we get the figure in hand, then we'll go from there. And I would say stop speculating in it. again, this process, I'm sure he's learning, and he'll probably have a better process in the next figure if there is a one. I mean, there is, I believe. I think the next one is the animated series, right? Yeah, the Batman animated series. So so it's a fluid situation. You want to adapt and do better next time. So
totally. And I mean, Dave Philly said, stop speculating. Totally agree with that. Like, I think it's unhealthy for us to spiral as hard as we do as a community sometimes, if I'm honest. But like I said, control the message then. If you don't want collectors to spiral out on these things and spin their wheels and consider canceling their deposits and talk shit in the community and fight with each other, well, you should just wait for Hot Toys, then like all of the things that happen within the community, then control the message better. Have those focal lengths the same, have the camera shots the same, have the backgrounds the same, make collectors guess what is a proto versus final. How good would that feel if you couldn't tell? Or if you end up choosing the one that is the proto, is the final, and you think that might be the better, like how sweet would that feel? But the feeling of not knowing and the feeling of allowing us to spiral actually feels worse, I think. And we did the same thing with InArt. We raked InArt over the coals on their Joker figure. And to date, I would say that the InArt Joker is probably their worst figure, but it was also their first one. And so just because the Joker wasn't what everybody thought it would be from InArt doesn't mean that InArt has not gone on to also craft some amazing stuff. So while I say at the beginning of this rant here that Jazzink can't afford to fail, they can still afford to get better slowly over time too, even if this doesn't end up being the perfect figure that you wanted it to be. What are your thoughts on all that, Dave?
I tell you what, Philly said it all just about. It's the one sticking point for everybody absolutely is the cost versus what we're seeing. And it's a lot. We're paying a lot for this, so I get it. But also, on the other side of that coin, we've done this song and dance before. We've with so many figures. What was the most recent one that comes to mind for me is Chewbacca. And I'll say the same thing I said then. Hey, look, we've seen bad pictures of a figure, and then to have it released and everyone just loved the hell out of it. We've been here. This is not new. So I'm reserving all my judgment for when I get it in hand. I'm all in on Catwoman here. I got both figures. I did the full package and all that, like a lot of people did, because we've wanted this for a long time, and I think that it's going to be a really good figure. I think that it's a bit of a stumble. These photo rollouts here. I'm not gonna discount that. They definitely. Totally. Not the best foot forward there. Agreed. But again, this is not new, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. There are some more stark decisions that were made, to change certain things, like the flocked cat, folded cat, and people feel the way that they're going to feel about that. And I see a good argument for both of them. I think both look good for different reasons. For sure. The cat really isn't why I'm buying this, so I'm kind of okay either way with that. So there's that.
It better be a flock cat. That's all I can say. It better meow.
I'm telling you, man, it better purr and it better knock stuff off of my shelf. But I think it's going to be a good figure, and I think they're going to improve. Certainly, everyone improves as they do things. That's just the way things work. And to your point, the whole InArt thing, yeah, man, like that first InArt Joker, I don't think it was, it wasn't the best Joker made, but it was still pretty good, and a lot of people still like it. And there's something to be said there. And yes, of course, they've already, had their hand in likenesses, through Clean Studios doing statues and such. So maybe they have a little bit of a leg up where Jazzink doesn't. That's perfectly reasonable to counterpoint. But I think based on Yost and what we know of him as, not just a collector, but as someone who makes things that he wants to collect, he's at the core, he's one of us, and he wants us to be just as good as we want it to be. And I think that is a huge deal. One thing you learn being in sales is you're selling yourself as much as you're selling a product, more so. And I'm sold on Yost as a creator, as someone who is making this stuff. I think he's going to do the best job that he can. I think that's why it's still a little bit, kind of being worked on up to the last hour. And I'm patient. Take your time, make it good. We've waited so many years for this. I can wait a couple more months to make sure it's as good as it can be. I'm fine with that. But yeah, man, I think this is going to be at least a decent figure. I know it's a lot for a decent figure, but I don't think that I'm going to dislike it. But I will save my judgment for when I get it, of course, because you never can be sure. But there is more stuff to look forward to from Jazz Inc. And, I'm looking forward to their 66 Catwoman. I'm getting that too. I want to see their Batgirl. Not like, Alicia Silverstone. Get that out of here. But, Yvonne Craig and all of that. I'm very looking forward to what they have coming down the pipe. And I think it's going to be good. I have a lot of faith in Yost and what he wants to see done. So I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, well said, dude. Well said. I'm feeling the same way. Hopefully optimistic at the very least. I think at the end of the day, I'm excited to at least give them the chance to show us. And like you said, there's enough of us out there in the world who we're not paid by Jazz Inc. We're not paid shills, none of those things. If the figure looks amazing, we'll say it's amazing once we get it in hand. We'll tell you guys about it. We'll do our videos and send our pictures and those things. And if it's bad, we'll talk about that as well. We just will. But hopefully not at the cost of people losing money or getting upset. I'm hoping it goes the positive way, because I am excited about the Danny DeVito Penguin too. I'm excited about my Batman animated series figure. Like, I'm excited to see the door get blown wide open by these guys and have just another great competitor in the market. You mentioned selling themselves as a person. So far, Jazz or Yost himself has been very, very consistent with us, I think, as a community, very patient with us. It would be easy for him to just say F off to some of the haters out there, but he doesn't. And he's the only company during the Collecting Weekly Yearly Awards that sent in a nomination video of him being thankful for the community recognizing him as an up-and-coming business over the last couple of years. And so he didn't have to do that either. That was really sweet of him to do. So kudos where kudos is due. Let's talk about waiting for something that turns out to be an absolute pile of shit. And because I'm not monetized anymore, I can say it out loud. Let's talk about XO6. Now, for those of the 72 people watching who are not Star Trek fans, please stick with us, because we're gonna get into Alien, the 40th anniversary next, and then we're gonna get into some Star Wars and stuff like that too. So if you're not a huge Star Trek fan, totally understand. But I typically do make Star Trek preview videos for XO6 specifically. I think I'm the only YouTuber as of right now that really does, from my knowledge anyways. There might be other channels out there, but I think I'm one of the main ones. I've been promoting this company, I would say, without payment for 5 years now, just under 5 years. And I am on record, when I think a figure is amazing, I will say I think this figure is amazing. And when I think the figure is terrible, I will also tell you if I think the figure is terrible. My thoughts on Wesley Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation were very spicy. I thought that was a horrible figure. It looked like Wesley Crusher made of melted butter and painted with your ass. And I think this is in line with that. Collectors who are Star Trek fans have been waiting for the Wrath of Khan figures now since XO6's inception. They teased this on Adam Savage, I think the channel was, 4.5 years ago. It was one of the very first videos I ever made on the Ben Thomas Show, was my reaction. And at the time, the figures that they were showing then were like pretty solid. Definitely like pretty new, like they could use some tweaking, they could use some work. we've been teased that the Wrath of Khan line from Star Trek is going to come for years. Keep getting these shadowy photos of their faces darked out and all these things. And we also keep being told by the developer that you need to continue to support these other secondary and tertiary characters so that they don't go out of business, so that they can ultimately give us the characters that they want to, or that we want them to give us, like the Wrath of Khan line. And then they present Dr. McCoy here, Bones. And I will say, at least on the positive side, since I did not do a figure review on this figure, on the positive side, I think the uniform looks great. I think the outfit does look cool. I like the regular one jacket. I think that looks fantastic. Even the zipper and everything, like, well scaled. I think the uniform overall is a win. I like the accessories here, the old school phaser, the old school communicator. While there's going to be some reuse there, I'm sure, for future options, I do think that overall is great. And kudos and props where it's due. Overall, XO6 has been able to keep their price point relatively flat over the years of them doing their offerings, whereas you've seen companies like Hot Toys and Art, J&D, and those progressively get significantly more expensive with inflation. XO6 has kept their pricing relatively squashed. But they also write on their pictures here, museum grade action figure. And I've been to wax museums that look better than this likeness for Bones. I've been to museums for Star Trek, and if this was on display, it would be embarrassing. And while I hear the folks out there saying, well, Ben, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't worry, I won't. But the downfall of that argument, in my opinion, is for the people who love this representations of Bones and Wrath of Khan, to say to those people, and this comes from the developer himself, who basically says, if you don't like it, don't get your knickers in a twist, just don't collect it. Don't feel sad about collecting if you don't like this. Well, they should, because you've been positioning this to them for years, that this was going to be a pretty awesome release, and this is by far one of the worst. This looks like it was done by not the B team, not the D team, like the F team. Like, what the hell happened? Who approved this likeness, and why, after all these years of baking in the oven, does it look nothing like Bones? Like, it's rough. So, all that to say, if you don't like it, don't buy it. I don't think is fair to collectors anymore, at least with regards to this, because we have been waiting. We've been giving you money. I had people in the comments say, well, Ben, how many do you even collect? And I said, well, I've got 11 in my display with one on order right now. So 12 figures at, call it $300 a figure. So I've spent well over $3,000 with XO6 over the last couple of years. Now, have I bought them all? No, for good reason. Not all of them look great. But to me, an over $3,000 investment in a company at least gives somebody credit enough to speak to those at the very, very least. And don't be that person in the community ever that says, if you don't collect them all, you shouldn't get an opinion. Please never be that person, because I don't think that that's okay. I think that objectively, people aren't blind. Don't gaslight people into thinking that you have this strong opinion about everything else when it comes to 6 scale collecting, but can then look at this and say, this looks good. Because to me, that diminishes your reputation. It diminishes your credit as somebody who, anybody who criticizes figures. And we all criticize these things up to a certain extent. So am I expecting you guys to agree with me? No, not necessarily. But I think this looks terrible. And I almost didn't even want to make a video on this. Well, I didn't, because I, again, felt like this figure practically speaks for itself, and outpouring from the community. And it does seem like XO6 is getting like progressively worse. And if they're starting to bow out, give the license to somebody else. The developer says that nobody else is willing to take the Star Trek license on. Prove it. I'd rather see Star Ace do this. And that is saying something. So that's my rant. I like the outfit. I hate the figure likeness. I think it's terrible. And if you think this is good, I'm devastated for you, because it could have been better. So I love you, faces. Sorry for the rant. Get off my negative horse now. Mr. Adam, tell me how you feel about this, and then we'll move on to some alien stuff.
listen, if this was if we're in a WrestleMania right now and we're a tag team, you just tagged me in. I first of all, I couldn't say it any better than you just said it, Ben. I agree with, ditto on every single thing you said. So if you just gave this figure and XO6 a body slam, I'm going to grab the chair on the outside the ring and I'm going to smack this thing with the chair right now. I'm going to just stepping back here.
For sure.
Lifelong Star Trek fan, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. Original series is my jam. I have 7 XO6 figures, plus I have 3 of the QMX figures. My Dr. McCoy from the original series QMX figure was released, I believe, in 2018, so 8 years ago. That is a far superior figure in terms of head sculpt than this. 8 years. As you mentioned, XO6 previewed this, 5 years ago? 4 years ago on Sideshow's website, before I even started getting my first Hot Toys figure, I signed up for the RSVP from Sideshow for this figure. In fact, I got an email on Friday. Oh, it's in for pre-order. 4 years later, I was so excited to get the Wrath of Khan figures, my favorite Star Trek movie of all time. They had 4 years to, presumably you have a prototype. And I thought with the prototype they showed 4 years ago looked good. I was ready to buy that figure. I'm ready to buy that figure now. If that's what they produced. You had 4 years to do the job. You had one job. One job. Arguably one of the most important characters in the Star Trek franchise, Bones, from probably the most popular Star Trek movie, and he couldn't do the one job. That's a picture I sent you right there. The top left is my QMX figure. The top right, that's what XO6 just released the other day. The bottom right is the prototype from 5 years ago, and of course the left is the actual photo of DeForest Kelly. Come on, 2 of those figures look good. Obviously, the real person. The one on that top, I don't know who the heck that is.
It reminds me of Team America World Police. It feels like it should be a puppet of him.
Yeah.
America.
F yeah. Just in case you get monetized again, I'll try to save you.
Just in case. I appreciate you.
So, listen, they had one job and they couldn't even do it. It's terrible. The most important, one of the most important characters, they couldn't do it right. Now, it's interesting. I was listening. I don't really have a dog in the bone in the last discussion on the Catwoman, but to me, what's interesting is everyone talked about Yost and his the openness he is to the community, that he gets feedback, that he actively solicits feedback. In art, they solicit feedback. Now, Hot Toys doesn't solicit feedback, but they do take feedback into consideration. And if you can see they do, because they will improve, and they'll even acknowledge sometimes in posts that, we've improved the head sculpt. When you have a business owner who says to the customers, you don't like it, don't buy it. Like you said, okay.
Wild.
I'm not, I was ready like that meme from The Simpsons. Take my money for these Wrath of Khan figures. They're not going to take my money, because I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money on this garbage, on this putrid piece of shit. When I could spend that money on the in-art Superman 2-pack, Christopher Reeve, on Hot Toys figures, on Caustic Plastic, on Jazz Inc. No. I'm so disheartened. To me, Star Trek is one of my favorite IPs, and I was so looking forward to this Wrath of Khan figure, and to have it turn out like this, horrible. Listen, I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money. You want to spend your money however you want, but if the owner of a company's attitude when they get, and yes, there is always people like, oh, this figure sucks, in their feedbacks on Facebook. Listen, but there was plenty of constructive feedback, including myself. I posted on Ninjin's Facebook page with, I believe, constructive feedback. I was respectful.
Not negative for the sake of negative.
No, of course not. And I think I have a pretty good track record if you follow me on streams of not of being pretty constructive, and I like most things. I'm not a nitpicker. If the attitude of a business owner is to piss off when they get constructive feedback, well, that's not a way to run a business. And you're not going to have your business for that long. So for the love of God, people, don't reward mediocrity, and don't reward a business owner who doesn't give a flying fuck about you. Okay?
Yeah. Well, and he said he's not a business owner. That he's just a fan. And it's like, hey, you know what? If that's how it started, sure. But when you're asking years of time and people's money for these, and you can't even take some constructive feedback, I'm with you on that one. Like, even my take today is way spicier and more negative than I would traditionally offer. But it's because we love Trek, not because we just want to shit on them. If they were pumping out good things, like I said, I love my Data. I love my Geordie LaForge. That figure's amazing. It looks like it's made by a different company. How can you, where's the QC? Just like general quality control or assignment to painting and all of these things. Like, if they're too expensive to make them look good or in line with the rest of your offerings, just don't do them. Tell collectors, hey guys, you know what? Sorry, McCoy is either too hard to make, too expensive to make, doesn't make sense. We're not doing it. I'd rather see people disappointed than collecting things that won't be in line with their display. And like you said, Adam, I don't want to tell people how to spend their money. I'm sure there is still a subset of folks out there who go, God damn, you guys are negative today. I love this figure. That's okay. We do all see art differently. And I have figures in my own collection that people shit on, that when I got it in hand, I was like, hey, you know what? I kind of still like it. I still do like it. But it's my collection. It doesn't matter. And this is really just my opinion at this point. And same with Adam's. But it's disheartening to see collectors get gaslit into being told that this is good when it's just not. And the prototype, like you said there, Adam, in the bottom right corner, even that I thought needed some work at the time, but it's still miles better than the Team America World Police image we see up in the top right corner there of that puppet thing that looks like bones. I hate it. And I didn't even want to make a video on it, but you guys asked what I thought. And that's it. So guys, we have 80 people watching live. I love you faces. Thank you so much for being here and getting nuts with us. If you don't mind, hit the like button if you are enjoying the display today of Let's Get Nuts. But I do want to talk a little bit about Alien Day being technically today, I guess. So April the 26th of 2026. Happy Alien Day. This is a NECA, so this is of course not 6 scale, but I thought this was interesting because NECA did show a power loader here, as well as some, figures and stuff like that. So if you like NECA, that's kind of fun. But I was curious if you guys think that this is alluding to what we might see from toy markets in the 1/6 scale world, because of course we also have the tease in terms of the 1/6 scale Weyland-Yutani shoes, the Reebok shoes. That's so far all we've seen, as well as a tease that more Alien is coming. But what are you guys thinking we're going to get out of Alien? So I think I'm probably in line with the majority of you when I say I got to imagine we're going to see a Ripley and Power loader. Like, I'd be shocked if we didn't get a 2.0 of that set. But it would be a huge footprint. How many of you guys would actually buy it versus just say you want it and then be like, oh man, I don't know if I can handle the footprint, right? Because we looked at that Star Wars vehicle a week or so ago. And that thing was also awesome, but huge. But I would say the Power Loader has practically its own personality for an Alien display. So I could see you trying to make it work. What else could we see from Alien? I'd be curious. Mr. Adam, I'll start with you, buddy. What are your thoughts here on Alien teases? Are you going to try and get some of these shoes locked in?
I'd love to get those shoes, play a little ball.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was excited. I saw this the other night. I've been hoping for a 2.0 of Ripley from Aliens. Aliens is actually my favorite of the Alien franchise. And I have the Xenomorph from Romulus. That's an amazing figure. So I would love to get a Ripley from Aliens to pair it with. I got to think they're going to have a Ripley, and they may do that power loader. Particularly, a lot of times like either Hasbro or NECA or Indicators, if they produce something, then Hot Toys isn't too far behind. My wish list, if I could get a Ripley, maybe Ripley holding Newt with the rifle and flamethrower, man, that would be awesome.
yeah.
And I'd
That
love
would
to
be
see a Hicks 2.0. I think that was one of the first Hot Toys figures ever produced, and that head sculpt, doesn't really anything look like Michael Biehn. And I would love to get a Vasquez and a Hudson. If I can get those and just have a little setup there, man, that would be so cool. I would
Do you
devote a
think
whole
that-
shelf to that.
Do you think we would get an alien queen? Like, obviously, it would be absolutely enormous. But
Yeah, I
that
think
a
that's possible. And the reason they could do that was at SoFi or something. That whatever they're calling that they're producing, the Galactus. I have that Galactus on pre-order from Fantastic Four movie, and that's huge. That's like 2 feet tall. So I could see them using the same type of material or process how they're making that to do an alien queen.
yeah, I never thought we would get the dewback. I think an alien queen would probably be bigger than a dewback, but still, I never thought we'd get that. So yeah, it's possible. I like the option for a Ripley and Newt. If we didn't get a power loader, I think that would be also like a really cool looking display and a really iconic moment. So I think that would be really cool too. Yeah, well said, buddy. Good thoughts. Let us know in the chat, guys, too, what you're hoping for from this alien tease and what you think might come. I'll highlight your comment on the screen if you guys got a good one. What do you think, Mr. Dave, X-Men Supreme? Any feels when it comes to Alien? Anything that you're hoping for out of this?
Nah, Aliens.
Doesn't
It's
do
not
for
a thing for me. It's not where I live. I think it's really cool how they presented the shoes, though. I think that's pretty neat.
Mhm.
The little box and everything, that's pretty dope. But outside of that,
Absolutely.
I'm not even a sneakerhead. I still think that's cool. It is cool to see them do licensing for shoes. Maybe in the future we might get more of that. That'd be nice for those of us who want to see that with our figures who have branded shoes. But nah, nothing for me. Thank goodness.
That's fair.
That's too
Oh,
much
yeah.
else.
Let's get an alien queen in here. Let's get a power loader with the Reebok color scheme. Dream and Vision says it's going to be a Ripley and loader. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. An egg sack base. Yeah, definitely. Again, if NECA is doing something like this, I don't see why not. Like, that could be freaking cool. There's lots that they could do. And this year for like entertainment anyways, in terms of new movies and stuff, I feel like it hasn't hit for collecting. So it's one of the reasons we've seen the return also to, Terminator, Alien, Predator, some of those things. And those classics have a ton of nostalgia packed into our hearts, right? Whether it's Alien for you or a Predator, because I think you like Predator more than Alien, if I'm not mistaken, right, Dave? Bit of a Predator guy, but even still, at the end of the day, I think it's exciting. I think we're going to see more over the next couple days, so stay tuned here on the channel. If anything pops up alien related, I will definitely do a figure preview on that, whereas I'm less excited about some of the Star Wars stuff, but there's still some cool things to be had. A power loader, I think I would make the room. I think that could look really cool. I think that could look really, really cool. Let's see here. Pop Culture Relic says a 1-to-1 face hugger with a tube to choke on. Jesus. Deadly. Gazoo says, I'm with you. I like the franchise, but not enough to spend on figures. Yeah. Then it would be a money saver as well, right? And the other piece here is that like Alien is still a pretty old Alien and Aliens, I should say Aliens for the sake of this. Aliens is now getting to be pretty old as well for just general community or newer collectors, maybe younger collectors that are coming in. I want to try to get away sometimes from overhyping things when it comes to these videos as well. And like, because if it means something to me, I usually do a hype video because I'm excited about it individually. But don't feel the FOMO to buy into this stuff if it's not for you, because the one lesson I've learned consistently now over the last couple of years of collecting, collectibles are never going to stop. They're never going to stop. There's always something cool that we're going to want tomorrow and the next day after that and the day after that. So save your dollars if it's not for you. Don't buy in to the FOMO. Just like this offering potentially was for people this week, because Hot Toys gave us an announcement that I don't think many of us were expecting. Maybe Dave was expecting this. I was not expecting this. A Weapon X from Hot Toys, comic inspired. Now, I started my preview video last week by saying this has got to mean Hono is dead, right? Because I mean, the base looks like Hono, the ability to hold the comic in the back looks like Hono, very stripped down accessories. There's almost nothing that actually comes with this guy. But the wins here, the new aspects are very seamless looking body. I think the upper torso is the same torso that we got from Thirst Trap Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine. So a little bit of reuse there, which to be honest, I'm okay with, other than maybe size of the character. And Dave can talk to that a little bit. But the other piece here is those silicone legs with feet and toes and all of it. Like, that looks pretty crazy, if I'm honest. Like, overall, I think the only thing that gives this away is like a comic inspired character is the face sculpt. It does look a little more comic inspired. These legs look crazy. It's the face that definitely gives it away, I think, a little bit there. And I'd be curious, because if this is the Wolverine body from Deadpool and Wolverine, could that mean that you could swap out a Hugh Jackman head sculpt on there if you wanted? It's hard to say. It depends on how the wires are kind of wrapped around the figure, I'm sure, to a certain extent as well. And there's no faceplate mouth swap out here. It's like, if you don't like this one, this is what you get. The only thing that I didn't like that Hot Toys did was show us this snowy Wolverine base, because this does not come with the figure. So if you're going to show us blogger photos, like, I appreciate artistry in photos and like, it does look cool, but man, did this ever make me want this snowy base with this character to represent Alkali Lake? Like, how cool would that be? But the base it actually comes with is like the most basic plain black plastic square of life. So that's a bit of a fake out there. I had a couple collectors that reach out to me to be like, Ben, does the base come? No, it doesn't come with it. No. But this came in at $270. Which was more expensive than I was expecting. I asked for $245. And I mean, that was probably hopefully optimistic, let's be honest. But with the fact that there's no likeness rights here, virtually no accessories, it doesn't light up, there's no die cast, it's awesome. But $270 still feels expensive. It does, even with the inclusion of those legs that are a little different than normal. So overall, I think this is awesome, but at $270, I do have to think about it. It's not one I'm not going to spend the money on right away. But I do think it's cool. Dave, I'm going to start with you on this one, buddy, because I know you're passionate about Wolverine and likely excited about this character. What are the wins? What are the takeaways? What are the things you wish were different?
Let me start by saying this is a dangerous combination. You don't. I don't taste this at all. And not for lack of trying. So
the bamboo rum.
Yeah, this is some good rum. But you put this in. Don't ever order this at a bar. But
Dave listened to us talk about that McCoy, and he immediately had to start drinking. You hate to see it.
So let me start by saying. let me start by saying this is. I did kind of expect this, but I expected it more in the Wolverine game capacity, since that game is coming in a couple of months, probably. Mm-hmm. At the very least, we're going to get some news about it in a little while. I'm very much looking forward to that. I definitely expected to see this with that, so definitely not so soon. First off, this is an amazing looking figure. It's absolutely 100% the TVA jacket Wolverine upper torso. I've spent the time staring at it, going over it. It's. I knew from looking at it immediately it was it, but I made sure that is definitely it. Which, hey, we expected them to reuse that, so it's no crazy news there. I pitched this very figure on Maso Menos, and they did a few of the things that I pitched doing, which I think really helped this figure a lot. I talked about doing like some wrist, restraints to cover the joints. They did that, and it looks fantastic. I talked about doing the same with the feet or doing seamless ankles if it's possible. They've done seamless ankles, and I am so cool with that. I do hope they hold up. We've been there with ankles before, but I expect the best out of this. I think they're engineering it. I think it's gonna be fine. I hope it's gonna be fine. I don't see if it's double ball peg and it just it's secure. Okay, great. If it doesn't work, that's gonna be weird. But let's not worry about that right now. I think these legs look amazing. His feet look incredible because, and for me in particular, remember that Weapon X set that was it Super Duck? Somebody of that ilk made a Weapon X set that Kit had and several people had on their websites, where it was a head and it was like the harness and some other stuff, and it was made to go on a Fison body, the Arnold body that everyone used for everything, and it has those horrendously tiny little feet, which is the one reason I didn't get that, because I'm not having the Tinkerbell feet with my Weapon X. I'm not doing it. This is what I want with a Weapon X. Is this awesome? Just the proportions are great. Now, after saying all of those good things, there is always going to be one sticking point for me with every Wolverine figure, save for 2 that have been released in 6 scale. I'm sorry, there have only been 2 6 scale Wolverine figures that are not Hugh Jackman, which are the Mondo ones, the most recent yellow and brown suits, because Wolverine is a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
This figure is 12 inches and like 2 centimeters or something such. That is...
He's a Magnum Wolverine, honestly.
Seriously. If this were a proper comic Weapon X, he would be 10.5 inches tall. That's what he would be. That's what he should be. And that's always going to be a problem for me. Is that going to stop me from buying it? No, I, again, am part of the problem. But it goes back to the whole, if you don't like it, don't buy it thing, right? There are several things that I wish this had that I'm sad that it doesn't have. But is that enough for me to not have Weapon X? No, it's not. The good thing for this figure, for me in particular, is that this is a figure that I won't necessarily have intermingling with other figures, because this is a solo event for him. He can be by himself on this. And he can be, you don't have to compare him to somebody else if he's on his own. Okay, that's fine. And putting him with other Wolverines, if I want to do something like that, well, they're all friggin' overscaled anyway, so fuck it, right? At least they'll match. Even outside of that, I think it's a really good outing. I think Hot Toys did a really good thing here, even if they didn't, make him the right size. I love it. I don't think it's a problem that the body looks more realistic versus the bit of the face we have, like a lot of people are talking about. I think it looks perfectly fine. I see it right here, and it's not even, none of that is a factor to me as I'm looking at it. I think it looks fantastic. I wish he had an unhelmeted sculpt. I know a lot of people have said similar. We didn't get that, and I'm sure somebody will make a custom out there. There's always somebody making customs. Some people were talking about the Age of Apocalypse Weapon X, maybe putting that head on this figure when they get it. And I would imagine that's not a thing that can't be done, right? This is the same torso as the TVA jacket. It's going to be one of those little ball pegs that you can just pull out. So I'm sure that'll probably be a similar size. Maybe you can fit that in there, or you can get something else that can. Mods are going to happen, and it's going to work. So I think that's fine. I do wish the helmet visor lit up. I think that would have been a good thing. And I think a figure like this, where you've got cables everywhere, would have been the perfect opportunity to have a messy ass cable somewhere for lighting stuff up, because who's going to care if there's a cable hanging out? Doesn't matter. They're all over the place. So,
Sure.
Somebody's probably going to mod it to do that, and that would be great. At least it's shiny. So it still looks really
Reflective.
cool. So that's
Agreed.
not bad. So,
Agreed.
I think it's I think it's good. I think I can go get a rock somewhere and get some like baking powder. I don't know. You can make this snow scene happen. So I think it's going to be great. I've ordered it already. I've got it coming. I'm definitely going to have this figure and everything else that they make of Wolverine because I Wolverine.
Well said, buddy. Well said. Get some baking
Wolverine!
powder and a rock.
All day.
Hell yeah. Adam, I know you said skip on you here, buddy. Philly, any thoughts here on Weapon X? And what about Hono as well? What do you think happened with Hono? Why do you feel like we haven't heard from them really in a year, right? The Spider-Man is the only one that's left to be released from Hono, but the last time we even had an announcement from them was, I believe, in May of 2025. So it's been over a year since their last actual announcement post. What are your thoughts?
Well, in regards to Hono, I think there's two different things. I think originally it was meant to combat the third-party companies that were kind of reeling in the X-Men third-party figures to kind of combat that. And two, right now with the economy, the materials have become more expensive. So maybe they're just condensing it to this comics line, which this probably would have been. It probably was Hono, and it just got converted to a comic line. I think they did great. It looks great. And I'm also, I have a theory. I'm thinking perhaps because they didn't go with the shorter body, obviously because it's the same duplicate silicone from the TVA jacket Wolverine. But I think they could have made, this is a possibility. They could have gone with the X-Men Phoenix version, or not the Phoenix, the X-Men Apocalypse, the newer version that you saw a cameo from Hugh Jackman, who did the Weapon X program, and maybe perhaps would have done a rooted version, or a sculpted version, but maybe with the version with the face covered, or another one without the face covered, because that's what they did in the movie. That would have been a possibility. But I think they went with this one because it's already a costly figure. The reason why it's $270 is, if you notice, the silicone is obviously it's medical grade, and then there's sort of like printing on it with the hairs and the texture and the paint, so that can get very expensive. So in order to drive the cost down on the figure, instead of using a Hugh Jackman head sculpt, which would have been another $80 to that $270, and if it would have been rooted, it would have been another $100 or $200. So, and you're looking at a $600, $500 figure. So they try to drive the cost down. So this is a good in between. So, and then lastly, what they're doing with the silicone is genius, because if you guys are noticing, if you have your Wolverines, it's not a full encased silicone on a metal skeleton. It's an actual plastic part with a silicone sleeve and sculpt on the outside. So when you bend it or articulate it, it creates less stress on the silicone, and it doesn't tear. The Fison body, it was fully encased in silicone underneath the skeleton, and when you pose it, and not to mention it was the lesser grade silicone, over time it's going to tear, especially when you pose it. So this one, you can bend the knees, you can bend the arms, and you're not going to have any problems because it's less stress, because there's a plastic portion of the leg underneath that leg, and it's like a giant sock with the feet. So genius of them, kudos to that for the technology and innovation there. And this is awesome because it's going to leave a door open for the Hulk. Imagine a Hulk, with that technology. I think it would be a great.
True. That's a good call.
So
that's a really good point.
So it's kudos, and so far right now, like my Hono Wolverine, the arms, I pose them, and it's a very sturdy silicone grade, medical grade silicone. It's durable. It's going to deteriorate, but not in 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's probably going to be more like 7 to 10 to 12 years. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's definitely instant pre-order, and they did a good job, and I like it. The only thing I would have said is give us a separate, maybe like a streaming sculpt, like a faceplate, maybe yelling. They haven't really perfected that, the yelling Wolverine, but other than that, it's great. I'm all for it.
Well said, buddy. I think, like your speak around kind of the silicone body, the design adding to the cost. I can understand that, especially on the leg side, adding it up. I think back to Hono's first announcement, which was that yellow and blue suit Wolverine with seamless arms, and they were silicone as well, and that came in at $165. So $270 feels still like a pretty sizable jump, even if we are getting a little more silicone in the torso. We're getting more on the legs. Like, I get it, and I corrected myself in the comments because I said it was a plastic body. It is a metal body underneath, likely for structure so that it doesn't tip over, which would obviously add to some cost as well there. My biggest reason for thinking that Hano is gone the way of the dodo is more along the lines of like the Wizard of Oz syndrome, where we've now as collectors had a chance to see behind the curtain. We've had a chance to see how low in cost these figures can actually be made versus the markup in terms of margin profit that they charge on top of the figures in order to make money and be a company and all of the things. I think they shot themselves in the foot when they originally gave us the Hano Wolverine with seamless arms at $165.
Oh yeah.
Because suddenly it was able to give us drawn comparisons to other figures that are similar in their construction, in their design, similar in material, similar in comic inspired likeness, as opposed to realism likeness. It gave us too much to compare to. And because Hot Toys also had its own comic line and Hano was supposed to be the lower budget cost, but then still some factors of their figures were like, it created so much confusion that I can't imagine why they would have ever continued on. And the better bet is to stick the Hot Toys brand to it, because no matter what, with Hot Toys logo being on it over Hano, they can ask for $100 more a figure, pretty much unquestionably, even if they don't make a damn thing different. And I think that makes a lot of sense. It's just that I do think that they shot themselves a little bit when it comes to, again, the peek behind the curtain, actually seeing what these things are made for versus what they're charged out at.
Now that you're saying that, it does make sense, because this is not the first full, legs and arms silicone figure. The Wolverine, the Iron Man from Hano was silicone on the legs and the arms, and that was only $210.
Right.
So, yeah, so there is definitely some truth to that.
Definitely.
She-Hulk too.
But again,
but she wasn't 300. She was only $70 more, or I'm sorry, $30 more than what this is, and she had full silicone legs too. So, and more accessories. Like this only has like 2 pairs of hands. This is the Hono treatment, 100%. Just with the Hot Toys price, So
definitely. Dub Toy says Hot Toys seems to be doing R&D with certain figures that they are applying it to others like Silver Surfer, with electromagnetic plating, and then they get used on Mando. So the silicone body is another test. I would agree with that, but again, I think it has more to do with the fact that it's the Hot Toys logo on there. I think they can just charge a little bit more. I think this technology has existed for a while. It's just that they're starting to slowly improve it. So, but all that to say, I've been collecting since 2000 and what year was that? 2014. So, 2013, I guess, technically. So 13 years of collecting. Where collecting started for me versus where it is today is vastly improved, whether it's the paint applications, seamless body technology, all of the above. Maybe not on XO6, but with everybody else, 100%. So very excited about this either way. And again, at $270, the price is a deterrent, but not a deal breaker. I just don't know. It's not one that I felt like I needed for the collection, but if the price point had come in like Hano did with their first Wolverine, that $165, that was so low in cost that people who didn't even want it was like, well, like, why? I might as well get it. It's for $165, like, shit, I'll try. I'll see how it's, what it's like in the display. And I love mine. I think he's awesome, especially for the price point, especially. And so, yeah, I don't know, but I do honestly think Hano is dead. If it comes back around, we will definitely talk about it. But I think she's gone. Now, this is an interesting one. Hot Toys gave us a ton of Star Wars news this week. I'm not going to cover all of the Star Wars news today in this show, though, because there was a lot of figures. Some have more interest than others. For me, the main ones, which we're going to talk about over the next couple slides here, guys, so stay with us as well, are, of course, Zeb, Yoda, Maul, and Artisan Luke. I think those are the main ones that we'll chat about today. But let's talk about Zeb first. I have grown to really love Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon show. Mostly based on, the boys at Collecting Weekly telling me, dude, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. I ended up giving it a chance. While I felt initially that it was for a younger audience, the longer I got through the show, the more I enjoyed it as an adult. And when, the TV show Ahsoka came out, was it already a year ago? Maybe even 2 years ago already. Time is flying by. It's hard to keep track of, if I'm honest. But when Ahsoka came out, we got a chance to get quite a few of the characters of Rebels, anyways, in their figure lineup. And many of us, including myself now, were like, hey, well, where the hell is Zeb? I mean, he's such a clutch, character in Rebels that it's wild to have a Hera Syndulla, for example, or really any of them, but not have him in there. But we had seen, I think it was Mando season 3, if I'm not mistaken, we'd seen Zeb at the bar with Mando at one point. So I think all of us were expecting that it would eventually come. And with the pending, movie Mandalorian Grogu coming out soon, I'm sure Zeb will have a pretty critical role in that film, if they are obviously giving us this figure already. Hot Toys doesn't normally give us figures before a film comes out. So they're either anticipating it to be a massive success, or they're going to give us so many figures from this movie. They're putting all their chips in. I'm happy to see them starting with a Zeb. And let's be honest, this figure looks freaking awesome. Now, I've seen some criticism that it's not necessarily the uniform or the outfit that people would necessarily want, like the one that's kind of more akin to his Rebels look. But I still think this looks freaking great. And the fact that it's got the wool hair implantation beard thing going on, I'm like, ooh, man, all the characters I can think of that exist now with beards like this, I would love to see, talking about figure technology improving, I would love to see them start to include this type of technology going forward. The, rolling eye system here with this character is now pretty standard, but even look at the furry arms that he's got. That's pretty cool. I love the coloration of his skin and hair as well. Very, very in line. The eyes also, in my opinion, look really realistic. There's a lot of personality behind the eyes. So that was exciting for me as well. Now, I don't have any of the Rebels line from, I should say, the Rebels characters from Ahsoka. I didn't buy any of them, even though some of them were fantastic. Especially Hera. I thought she was really, really well done. But this does make me want to consider either going back or seeing if we're going to get more of the Rebels characters in Mando and Grogu, or just going forward within Star Wars. So I'll pass it off to you, Mr. Dave. What was your thoughts here on Zeb announcement this week?
I love Rebels so much.
That's what I thought.
And I had just about all of the Ahsoka figures on order because I really do love that show. I did cancel a lot of them because so many other things that take priority came out. So I don't have Hera. I want Hera. I need to get her. I don't have Sabine. I want Sabine. I need to get her. I don't have Chopper. I want Chopper. I need to get him. And I want Zeb. And it's one of those situations where it's I keep thinking about Shane, pass on the things you like to get the things that you love. And it sucks when you love a lot of things. I love the hell out of Rebels, and I want all of these Rebels figures. And I might order Zeb because I feel like he's going to be one of those that if you don't get him, you're not getting. It's how it feels when I look at this figure, and he's got such great. I've mentioned before recently that he's got great DNA from other characters that we love. For instance, and Moose mentioned it. This was one of the original character design ideas for Chewbacca. This was an idea for how Chewbacca could have looked. And Zeb was voiced in Rebels by Steve Bloom. Still is voiced by Steve Bloom, apparently, who has also had a few turns at voicing Wolverine. in some projects. So that's just pretty cool all by itself. But this is a beautiful looking figure that they're putting up, and Zeb is a great character. His species, we don't know terribly a lot. I don't know of any other lore outside of Rebels about the Lasat. I know they're kind of a secretive race, and their planet isn't really, in the galactic area that we're used to seeing. Kind of like, you gotta really know how to get there to get there. So it'd be cool to see more about them. I want this figure. It remains to be seen if I am getting him. I'm very tempted to order him, but man, there's so much happening that is so much more, me than Star Wars stuff. So I don't know, man. I gotta figure it out if I really want him.
Do you think, Dave, that this character would be enough to represent the love for collectors of the Rebels line? Like, kind of like how I felt about the Thing for Fantastic Four. Like, I was like, I don't necessarily want all of the 4 characters, but the Thing feels like it represents Fantastic Four enough for me. Do you think Zeb is enough of a representation, especially if you like aliens but don't want to go back and collect all the other characters?
I think any of the Rebels related figures would do that job, because they're kind of like the Beatles, right? Like they're all a huge group together, but each individual one, they have their own thing, and everyone likes their individual ones for, different reasons. So I think you could do that with any of them. You could have Chopper and call it good, I think. Chopper, what a maniac. But
yeah.
But yeah, dude, I think any one of these would be great if you want to have just that one figure that could be from Rebels that does it for you. I've heard people talk about it, and I do agree, because we know in this, toy world, reuse is paramount. And, the idea that they made this whole new body and this is going to be it. People have talked about, the idea of maybe getting a Zeb later in a more Rebels, like outfit, or maybe something else that he's wearing later on, which I can see happening for sure. So maybe if this isn't the Zeb outfit you want, maybe there'll be another one later. We've seen Hot Toys do that time and time again. I don't really care so much about the outfit. The clothes don't always make the man or Lasat or whatever you want to be. I think Zeb is cool no matter what he's wearing. People change clothes all the time, so that's fine. I don't know if this is necessarily his color, but hey, we're not all fashionistas here. So
the blue.
So I think this is fine. I love Zeb. Zeb is awesome no matter what. I'm glad they gave him his primary Lasat weapon. That's a very traditional Lasat thing that he has, and it's really cool how they bring that into the story. I could go on all day about Zeb. Zeb's cool. Yes, Zeb is 100%
cool.
A get. If you love him, get him. I'm thinking about getting him. I might get him.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Well said, well said. Before I go to you, Adam, I just wanted to say a quick thank you. I just wanted to pull this up because I said I would for transparency's sake. We are already at $100 worth of contribution from you guys today, just from the show today. We have someone, Franco, an MSN, with huge $30, $5 from Sith Scale Collector, Dave, Philly, Honest Hansel, One Adam 12. Guys, thank you so much for contributing there. If you're just showing up to the show now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is the QR code up in the top right corner. Because the tunnel's not because it's demonetized, I can't have channel members anymore. So if you do want to contribute to the Ben Thomas Show, we are going to do a figure giveaway once we hit $500. So we're already at $100, which is crazy. So if you guys want to contribute, that would be awesome. I definitely appreciate you. But to everybody who has already, I love you guys, honestly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Adam, tell me what you think, good sir, about Zeb here.
Yeah, I love the Rebels show. I've seen every episode, and I enjoyed Ahsoka. Wasn't a perfect show, but I did enjoy it. I have several of the figures from Ahsoka, including the four Rebels based figures. Was it 4? 3. Excuse me, 3. Yeah.
3, yeah.
This one makes it the 4th. 3 Rebels figures that have been produced. They're my chair is covering it. It's in the cabinet behind me. So I'm definitely picking this up. Whether Mandalorian and Grogu is good or not is not, I hope it's good. But just for his sheer interactions in Rebels, I'm gonna get this too, and hopefully we'll get the other remaining Rebels, Kanan and Ezra, to be produced at some point. Certainly with this Ahsoka season 2. I mentioned that Dave mentioned he mentioned about the Beatles, and I guess Zeb would be like George Harrison. Ezra, I don't know who Ezra is. I don't know if he's Ringo or if he's Pete Best, but I always thought Ezra was kind of a goofy
The
character.
fifth Beatle.
But yeah, Zeb's a great character. And Ben, you mentioned, or someone was mentioning maybe in the comments, that's may not be the outfit that he appeared in Rebels. Mm-hmm. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that we'll see a redraft of this, an exclusive version with his Rebels, just like we saw with the Thrawn. So that's going to come. They're not going to invest the money in the head sculpt and the body and not give us a version with his Rebels outfit, if that's what you want.
Totally. Especially
Luis mentioned. Luis mentioned, and I never played. What's the game? Jedi Survivor, whatever, Cal Kestis stuff. But apparently his Jedi Master was a Lasat.
Yeah, correct.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They like making characters other than Cal Kestis from the games, so maybe they'll make that guy. Still not make Cal Kestis. I don't know, but
that's fair. Guys, let's continue on then. Because you said, Philly, you didn't have much on Zeb, right? Who doesn't love a good Yoda, though? And to backtrack a little bit too, guys, I've been excited for Star Wars season this year, right? We always get to this time of year and there's always speculation on are we going to see any OT trilogy? Are we going to see, what are we going to get? Are we going to get some 2.0s of some characters that we love, right? And then this week so far, this is what we've got. And there's been some people who absolutely are stoked for the options. I've been subtly disappointed by them all, but only because I don't have crazy connection to them. I think Zeb might actually be the one that I'm most connected to because I really enjoyed Rebels. I love Yoda as a character, but I love old Yoda. I love puppet Yoda, Dagobah, Empire Strikes Back Yoda. That's the one that I would really love for them to do a 2.0 of at some point. For me anyways, because I missed out on the original, and that is the Yoda for me. So while this I think definitely looks a lot like Yoda, there's some chunkiness to his face, but I think it's passable. And some of the screenshots that I've seen from the film to the figure, it overall looks pretty good. The hair looks pretty great as well. I love that he's got these interchangeable hands that have a bendable wrist. I think that's pretty cool technology for a little Yoda figure there. And because most of the figure photos here are obviously edited, I would imagine this thing comes on a clear pole or something, so you can make him look like he's floating if he's in his chair. He looks like, in the picture on the left, were you ever a kid and your mom made you go to the Walmart and get photos in front of the backdrop there, and the photographer always makes you hold your hand? That's what he looks like, right? He looks like he's posing for his mom. Yeah, that's right.
JC Penney, Olin Mills photos. My mom used to bring me to.
Exactly. Olin fucking Mills. Wow.
Unlocked. I love to see it.
Back in the day.
Hell yeah. So I like it. I have honestly no criticism of it, other than it's not the one that I would want to collect. I'm excited for the collectors who want this particular representation in there. I did see some criticism that I think that this is not the right Obi-Wan head sculpt for this particular scene, which made me laugh a little bit. Just Hot Toys being Hot Toys, right? But at the same time, unless you know for sure, I think you could kind of skip over that. I will say the two human characters look a little underbaked in comparison to Yoda. I think Yoda looks like it has better technology, better paint apps. The figures themselves in terms of the humans there look a little soft. If I'm honest, I don't think they sell this character very well. But overall, does look pretty good. Does look good. What do you think, Mr. Philly? Are you a Yoda fan? Is this the Yoda for you? Where'd you land on this one?
I have the Empire Strikes Back. I have the Attack of the Clones, and this is just another one for me to add to the collection. And what I like about it is they gave you 2 head sculpts, and so it'd be great to add it to the body of the Attack of the Clones, because now you have articulated eyes on both of them. So good addition. I was hoping that we get this soon. I'm just surprised they didn't attack a Count Dooku with this one, because it'll be a good, battle in between. And then you also got the Darth Sidious one that just came out, so it'll be a good figure to put in between there as a 2 figures battling it out. And they did a good job. It looks great. The moving eyes is mainly the one thing I've been looking forward to, and they brought it, so definitely adding to the collection.
It gives them a lot of life. They honestly, maybe they have already, and I just missed it. They need to give you almost like a flight pull for him, because in that film he's flipping around and like going wild. Like, to have him up posed like this actually in a flight pull, I think would look wicked in the display, especially in comparison to if you have like a Dagobah Yoda who's just sitting on his log chilling out, you know what I mean, and eating some sausage with Luke Skywalker. What do you think, Mr. Dave? It sounded more sexual than I intended, if I'm honest, but what do you think about this figure, Mr. Dave?
Just Yoda eating some sausage, shit. Who doesn't love a good sausage? Yoda, man, I want Yoda too. Like, I've been wanting a Yoda for a while, and I don't have a Yoda. And like, this is my preferred Yoda. I like this version of Yoda because he gets around more. He's a little less wacky, dewy, like you love Yoda from the original trilogy, but there's just something super cool about prequels Yoda that the OT Yoda just does not have as a character. And I really love this. I would love to have this. I'm so glad that they decided to redesign him, because that puppet was not it when they did the prequels. My God, that thing was awful. This is the only thing about this is that, because this is Revenge of the Sith Yoda. This is the Yoda that lost. We say we have the Thanos that won. This is the Yoda that lost, and it's so heartbreaking because it's Yoda, man. But I don't know, man. Like I keep saying, there's so much stuff that I love that's coming. There's so much stuff that we don't know about yet that I know is coming. Just because of the Marvel movies coming, the Wolverine game coming. Oh man, the Hot Toys are doing more game stuff, and we're doing that resynced version of Black Flag. That's about to happen. Maybe they'll make figures from that. I don't know. But if they make one figure from that, then that's something I'm probably going to want more than I want this. I don't know. I wish I had more money.
Yeah, no doubt.
Again, Star Wars is great, and sometimes it sucks that it's kind of like the back burner fandom for me, because Marvel is always going to be up front, Wolverine's always going to be up front, and DC is always going to be a close second. And Star Wars is great. I love Star Wars, but man, I can't. I have 6 Star Wars figures, and 4 of them are Ahsoka. So it's. I have a specific range of Star Wars that I really live in, and it's not really the prequels, and it's not really the original trilogy, and even getting Yoda in any case, it's like, where do I put him with the Star Wars stuff that I do have? I don't know, man. I don't really have a lot of space for standalone figures, and I'm trying to work that out because I got a lot of figures that need to stand alone. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I'd hate to miss Yoda again.
That's how I feel. I'm like, what if they don't give us another Yoda, and then I just have no Yoda representation in my Star Wars display, which does feel like a miss. I see a couple people in the chat saying that they sold their other version now. I mean, like, it's kind of fun to see them all together. I still think old Dagobah Yoda here is where it's at for me at the end of the day. Not photo booth at Walmart Yoda on the left, but I still think not having a Yoda at all kind of sucks. Shout out to 6 Scale Treasures, by the way, on Instagram. If you don't follow that Instagram account, definitely recommend it. Good dude. He's always willing to let me use his comparison shots on Let's Get Nuts or on my videos. So do me a favor after the show, go over to Instagram and type in 6 Scale Treasures. Look for the pirate, and you'll have a chance to see these comparisons as they pop up when he does the figure ones. Mr. Adam, what do you think here about Yoda?
I'm probably the opposite of Dave in that Star Wars is my one true love. Don't tell my family. But in terms of IP, Marvel is second, and then DC. I guess Marvel would be my mistress. DC would be the side dish once in a while. So I have the Attack of the Clones, and I have the Empire Strikes Back.
Start.
Yoda. So Yoda's one of my favorite characters. I'm probably going to pick this up just to pair with the recently released Darth Sidious from Episode 3. I think it would go very well together. I think the figure looks really good. The only note I would have that I think could have been better is I do like it comes with his floating chair. I wish they gave us maybe as an expanded offering, like you could, I know people don't like things like behind a paywall, but if you had this like version and then you had a deluxe version, if you wanted to get it with either a full or partial diorama base of the Senate pod from the end scene, because I think that would look awesome. And I know space is a consideration for a lot of people, but they've been giving us some pretty huge diorama bases lately. And I think if there's one diorama base that I would make room in my collection for, it would be a 1/6 scale, either a full or partial Senate pod to put, much like they're doing with Obi-Wan with the Mustafar battle. They have that droid floaty thing on Mustafar on the lava that you could put Anakin and Obi-Wan on. Cool. I would love to have. Cool. I'd love to have a final battle scene between Yoda and the Emperor on there. I think that would look phenomenal. So that would be my only. I don't know. Maybe people can like 3D print it. Who knows? I'm sure there could be people who do that. It might be a good idea for someone's business. I would love to see that. Other than that, I think this is great. There hasn't been a Yoda in a while, and there's definitely been demand for a Yoda. So it's time.
Hell yeah, there's been some demand for Yoda. Hell yeah. We got Mr. Loco Lou here in the chat saying what's up to everybody. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. I'd love to get Lou on the show at some point. It's been too long since the last time we streamed together, buddy. So hope you're doing great, man. Thanks for being here. Also, Smallville fan 72 says, I'm here and the show can start now. I hate to break it to you, bud, but we've been here for 2 hours already. I hate to see it. Better late than never, though. I appreciate you getting nuts with us here on Sunday. And, of course, we still have over 60 people watching live. Thanks for sticking it out. I know some of this is older news already, or not everybody is a huge Star Wars fan for these characters. But if you're enjoying the show, if you can, hit the like button. It would definitely be appreciated. We have a couple more here, though, to take a peek at. And, again, I did purposely leave a few off. We're still got to talk a little bit about this Maul, though. Now, I will admit, I haven't seen the new Disney Plus show on Maul yet, and I've heard nothing but good things. Everybody who's told me to watch it is like, it's freaking awesome. Maul's an absolute badass. I've always been a Darth Maul fan. I think of my buddy Dean the Dream Martin, who is really done with Maul, so every time we talk Maul and collecting weekly, he's like, I don't want to talk about Maul anymore. Him and the Joker, both characters. But I think Maul is badass. Now, from some of the screenshots side by sides that we've got from, again, our buddy 6 Scale Treasures, I will say that because I haven't seen the show, I was shocked how vastly different this looks. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be mistaken, you guys in the chat can probably know better, especially if you've had this, does this not look mostly like the Clone Wars body of Maul that we'd already had in the past? This seems like a lot of reuse here, including the sculpt, I want to say. It doesn't look anything like the Maul show. I mean, it looks like Maul, both of them, but it's not close enough in terms of an animated representation rip from the screen. This looks like they were like, hey, Maul's really popular. Let's kind of put together a figure and call it. this feels half-baked. This feels like a 6 out of 10 effort. Like, if you've missed on getting them all in your display, I think that this is an option. I don't think if you love the show, this is going to necessarily do the show any justice. I do like his whirling lightsaber effect, though. I think that does look pretty cool, and I think that's the first time I've seen the whirling effect that has kind of the broken like blade to it look, whereas it's like most of the time it's a pretty solid like rectangle of plastic. So that looks fun. Base horribly boring, and honestly don't love the jointed body here again, which is why this reminds me of the Clone Wars body. I think that it is, but especially with the jointed seam and everything like that. With the outfit on, I think it looks pretty dope. At this point, does he also still not have robotic legs? It's weird to me that he's wearing boots, but I could be mistaken in terms of his chronological life order. So an interesting one. I don't have a lot to say other than seems half-baked, like 6 out of 10 in terms of effort, but the Maul sculpt is still good, and if you needed a Maul, now you can get this one. Adam, what are your thoughts here on Maul? Have you seen the show, by the way? Just curious.
I love the show. I've been watching.
Okay,
I'm up to date. I've watched
Sweet.
all 6 episodes that have been released. It's the best animated show that's come out so far. I think.
That's high praise.
And I really like Rebels. So yeah, I mean, now Rebels has got a longer. Maybe that's not fair because Rebels had like 5 seasons and we've only had 6 episodes. But it's an excellent show. And you know what I like about it, it's as much as I like Rebels, you know, it was made for, I think it was like the rating like a Y7. So there is some things in there that are definitely meant to appeal to younger kids. And
Sure.
the Maul show is not to say that a younger kid couldn't watch it and enjoy it, but it's not overtly trying to appeal to younger kids. It's definitely trying to appeal to a older audience. You know, if you liked Andor, not as dark as Andor certainly, but definitely a more mature audience. I have the 1.0 Phantom Menace Darth Maul, so I did not upgrade for the 2.0, and I do think that this is like a kit bash of the head sculpts from the 2.0 with the Clone Wars body. Maybe they've changed a few things painting wise. I do plan on picking this up because I didn't get to 2.0 of episode 1, and I was this show made me want to get the Clone Wars version because I wanted a separate version, but this show is so good that I actually, one of the characters from Ahsoka was Marok, I got this. He looked cool in Ahsoka. I just got this on Friday. This maybe because he's in the Maul series, and he looks cool in Ahsoka, but he kind of went out in a cheesy kind of way, in a green fart. This made the Ahsoka show made him badass. The fight scenes are just badass. In episodes 5 and 6. So I highly recommend, if you haven't watched Maul, if you've kind of been down on Disney Star Wars, give it a try. It's well worth your time. I don't know if I'd give it if you gave it a 5 or 6, I would give it like a 8.5. Which to me is like,
I think the figure looks good
for me. Yeah.
I just think in terms of effort, if they're comparing it to the show, is a 6. So sorry to correct myself there, but like again, even just like look at this one photo here of the paint, just the paint applications alone on the face don't match the character. Not even at all. They could have taken a Ray Park sculpt and just painted it differently and it would look closer, in my opinion, than this. So that's what I mean in terms of like, I think the figure face and everything, I think it looks good, but it doesn't look like the show representation very well. It's like a half-baked effort.
Do you think they should have used the Ray Park skull, or do you think they should have used a sculpt that was not Ray Park but evocative of the animated?
I don't think they should have used a Ray Park sculpt. Not at all. I think I don't think that they look close enough. I might wait for this figure specifically to hit like a Toys Anxiety though, to see if I can grab just the sculpt to upgrade my Solo Maul figure at some point, because I do think the sculpt is better. But again, if I watched the show on Disney Plus and I loved the show and then this figure popped up, I would say that it doesn't look close enough. But that's me. I'm not too invested necessarily either. But sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I mean, this is hot toysing. You know, they invested in that 2.0 Phantom Menace Maul sculpt, so this is them repackaging and then using the Clone Wars body. You know, sometimes we're critical of that, and I've been critical of that in the past. But I guess this is one time we're like, yeah, I guess I'm going to benefit from it because I didn't get either one of those.
For sure. Detective in the chat says it's not tuned enough. After Jinx and Miles G. Morales, no excuse, animated nameplate, animated head sculpt. Yeah, like if it's animated, why not make it look animated? Like, we now know they can definitely pull that off if they want to. This is Hot Toys be Hot Toys, and let's give a quick special shout out to Mr. Brother Cousins Toy Reviews. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here, man. Thanks for being here, getting nuts with us on a Sunday, as always. I appreciate Jay because he often, whenever I get a chance to pop into his Thursday stream, that Thursday night is always my gym night. So I'm always at the gym when he's live, but he always says hi to me. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And all the love you guys give the community as well. So keep up the good work, buddy. Keep it up. But thanks for being here, getting nuts with us. Mr. Dave, what do you think about Mr. Darth Maul here?
I think that, because I haven't seen the show yet either, and I'm sure I'm going to like it because Maul has been, as far as a character comeback, wow. Like, Maul has been a big deal since he's a bigger deal after he got sliced in half. Isn't it crazy? But Sam Witwer voicing him has always been great. Maul has been a super compelling character throughout the animated lore, and I'm very much looking forward to watching this as soon as I restart my Disney Plus subscription at the beginning of the month. I haven't had it for months now, and I've been waiting for like the right point in time to just get it and binge everything that I've been, saving up to watch. I think now is the time to do that. So once I get that, I'll watch this, and I'll watch Wonder Man and everything else that I've not watched yet.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah, I've heard good things about Wonder Man.
Yeah, this figure though, I don't. This is definitely that same figure that everyone keeps clowning on from the Clone Wars Maul, and it doesn't look terribly great. The body and all of that. The sculpt is better, I think, than what they put out for that figure. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's still, it doesn't have that animated feel. Like he's much more gaunt and angular, and this doesn't really reflect that. It still looks really good. And hey, if you want a Maul and this is the option, I don't think it's an awful option. I don't like that body.
No.
I don't know.
The body needs to be covered, in my opinion. I think if you keep the cloak on him, it's definitely not a bad Maul by any stretch.
Yeah, I think he's all right. When he's got the clothing on, he looks pretty good, I think. So yeah, get this Maul if you want him. Yeah, why not? But sure. Not for me. I'm still debating on Yoda. Like
debating on Yoda.
I've seen some criticism too. Have a chance.
I've seen some criticism too that they can't do a Maul body very well seamless and everything like you would expect because of the tattooing and coloration of the body. I can understand that to a certain extent. I don't like saying out loud what I think the limitations of a company are, though. And so while that still may be true, don't get me wrong, I don't know if the technology exists specifically. I don't want to say out loud or basically give, companies like Hot Toys a free pass to say, yeah, well, they can't do it, so this is the best you can get. Well, then don't give it to us yet. Still continue to tweak the technology until you get to a point where they can. I have the Jinx figure in hand, and I will say, I'm nervous to touch the tattoos. I'm nervous to pose her a little bit, but I've had lots of fun posing it. I've had to handle her to a certain extent to pose her. I've had, knock on wood, no issues with the tattoo application of that figure yet. Nothing has come off, nothing has run, nothing like that. And she is seamless as well. And so I think that they can do it. They just, collectors just need to be ultra careful with it, obviously. But when like for me, I love joints if I'm smoking them, but I don't love joints on my figures. It breaks immersion for me, and so it's an automatic no for me usually if it's this jointed up. I would love to see them tweak that technology and continue to improve, but they got to leave room for 4.0s, right, and 5.0s and all of the things. Mr. Philly, before we go to our boy Luke Skywalker, any thoughts here on Maul?
Well, I think in lieu of the show, this is obviously marketing strategy. It's basically a Build-A-Bear, but for Maul, build them all. And they've used all these extra parts they've been using, and I'm surprised though. I'm surprised they didn't use a solo version head sculpt instead of the episode 1 because he looks older in that one, so it's more angular, like kind of matching the TV show. I honestly haven't seen the TV show, but I'm going by the pictures, what I'm seeing. But the episode 1 2.0 Maul was so popular, they decided to go with those head sculpts because there are really good head sculpts. And, I missed out on the 2.0 because I had a 1.0, but then I sold it. So I'm seriously considering this just for the head sculpts. And not to mention, the figure looks sick. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's an essential Maul that you can keep because it has everything you want in there, including cool lightsaber and the cape and the hood and all the stuff. So, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do the silicone body because, again, this is just a Build-A-Bear or Build-A-Maul because, that's just creating more money it's costing more money for R&D. They could easily do it. If you forget, we had the Hellboy from a few years ago. That's red silicone. They could have just used black ink to do the tattoos. But again, they might save that till maybe for a future Maul. You never know.
For a future.
But it's cool. I mean, I think I'm gonna get it just because of those cool head sculpts. They're really, really animated and really realistic. Another thing too is Howard. I don't think Howard likes animated Star Wars. If you notice, a lot of the Star Wars figures, he does realistic stuff, like the Clone Wars and. So he does realistic stuff. He doesn't do animated, and maybe it could be a licensing thing, or it could be he just doesn't like it. But I think this is why they chose these head sculpts.
I think that there's a world in which it does break immersion to have animated amongst your movie realistic or TV realistic figures, and so I get that it probably sells better if it looks like it matches the rest of your display. On the other hand, for the people who love that style of artwork, it feels like a bit of a low-handed slap to those folks because I thought Hot Toys was supposed isn't their whole business model trying to be as accurate as possible to what we see and feel on screen? Isn't that their whole business model? And so doesn't that detract from their own messaging around the reason for creating these things outside of profit? It seems odd, but I agree with you. They do seem to kind of stay away from it, if I'm honest. So, and I've said this, I love Darth Vader. I love Darth Vader. How many Darth Vaders does one need? I love Maul, but how many Mauls does one need? In a world of which we're seeing collectible companies from Mondo to J&D to InArt, Hot Toys, Jazz Inc., 3-0, there are so many wonderful collecting companies now giving us so much cool shit. I'm I don't want to take up 5 spots in my display for Maul.
Well, Maul's been around Maul's been around for a long time. I mean, we first saw him as a throwaway villain, but he resurrected, just like X-Men Supreme said. He's becoming one of the top, one of the villains amongst Vader and Sidious.
Oh, I totally agree. But you think that means that it should justify having multiple sort of thing, or can you get away with one definitive representation? You have 3. Yeah, there you go. I mean, for me, it's a 1. It's a one and done, and I feel good about it. But again, not the same nostalgia level. And I can't say there's people who aren't Batman fans who could come in. The girl I'm seeing right now, she can't tell the difference very well between all the different Batmans that I have. And I'm like, what do you mean? They look so different. She's like, I don't know. It looks like a guy in a Batman cowl to me. I'm like, I mean, fair. So get out. get out, right? So, but anyways, I'm just kidding. Guys, let's move on. One last figure of the day that I want to chat about before we wrap it up. And I do want to respect our panelists' time. So we'll try to keep it to about 10 to 15 more minutes, and then we'll roll out for the day. We got Mr. Luke Skywalker here, the Artisan edition of Luke Skywalker of all things. You know what? At first glance, I got to give it credit. It looks really well painted. It definitely looks like Mark Hamill, especially from this particular film. It's a series of films that I don't personally love, and so it doesn't make me necessarily want to collect it. But wow, does it look like old Mark Hamill from this movie. They've done a really great job with the prototype. I do like some of the accessories that come along with it as well. I believe this is actually a 2.0. I have some comparison photos here in a moment that I can show you guys. It does look vastly better than the original. Assuming there is less glue issues from Artisan going forward, because I know that there's still been kind of intermittent glue issues with the hair on Artisan figures. At least he's got gray hair, so some of the white from the glue might actually like blend in a little bit better potentially. I think if you love Luke Skywalker and you want a large breadth of representation of Luke, unlike how I just felt about Maul, where I feel like I only need one definitive edition, this Luke, like it or not, still represents the history of the character in canon. And so it's hard not to justify considering having it, even if you didn't like the movie. And I didn't personally love the movie. So for me, I won't collect it, but it does look good. It does look pretty good. I'm going to show some comparison shots here. Adam, what were your thoughts here on this Luke Skywalker? And before you answer, keep in mind at the beginning of this conversation today, one of the things that I said was I was really hoping to see more from original trilogy this Star Wars month. I was really hoping to see some other characters. While this looks great, is this what collectors were looking for? What are your thoughts on all of that?
To tie this back to a figure we talked about earlier, I would really like to swap the sculptors and artists for this Artisan Luke, and with the Dr. McCoy,
right?
And have the Hot Toy sculptors work 100%. On that Dr. McCoy, and have the whoever worked on that XO6 Dr. McCoy work on this Luke. Because I'll tell you, this Luke Skywalker, it is a beautiful figure.
It's crazy.
For one that no one asked for. Who asked for this? Listen, I love Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite characters of all time. I enjoyed The Force Awakens, but in hindsight, it was a road to nowhere, and the sequel trilogy left a lot to be desired. So I'm not going to relitigate that for everyone's attention here. But, people have been clamoring for, they did have a Dark Empire Artisan Luke, but people have been wanting a Luke based on really the original trilogy and, A New Hope in particular, but other movies possibility, even a Mandalorian appearance. I think people would be interested in because it's basically his Return of the Jedi outfit. This is the Artisan they give us. I mean, I guess it's limited to 2,500. I'd be curious to see, is this going to sit for a while? There've been a few Artisans that have sat for a while until they finally sold out. I don't know. I just, that you can find a sequel trilogy, Luke Skywalker, for a pretty decent price on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Are there that many people who have been clamoring for this and an Artisan version? I don't know. It makes me wonder if Hot Toys was contractually obligated through. This is something that Disney is pushing.
Maybe,
because it's puzzling. I don't get it. I mean, listen, as on merits of the figure, yeah, this looks awesome, but I don't want to be reminded of this movie and that in this film, Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker became a washed-up loser and really did nothing that positively impacted the rest of the film. It's just I hate what they did with his character. And to Mark Hamill's credit, when the film was being made, he acknowledged, he said publicly, I don't know if this is if this is the right decision to do with Luke. Fans are not going to react well to it. And then, in the years since he's been consistent in saying that this was not the right decision to take with Luke. I don't know. I'm curious to see how quickly this sells out.
I mean, we have a couple people in the chat feeling like this is going to sell out. Clinton Martin thinks this will sell out in a few hours. Detective says this will sell. Don't sleep on it. For me, I try to stay away from the FOMO buying. But Luke is a pretty popular character just overall, right? I mean, and even if you don't love this film, especially The Last Jedi, a lot of folks really didn't love The Last Jedi. I agree with you. I did like The Force Awakens. That was a fun one, but The Last Jedi just wasn't quite there for me. I didn't hate it though either. Some people like really hate The Last Jedi, and I'm like, I feel like that seems aggressive. But I agree with you. What they did to Luke being so hopeful and being able to see the good in his father, and so much of his character arc feels like it's thrown away by the grumpy bastard he becomes. It just doesn't seem like that's where his trajectory as a person would have gone, even with what they tried to show us with Ben, right? So it's like, come on. But I will say, this is a figure I did not feel needed a 2.0 by any stretch. But looking at some of the comparison photos, I'm like, this is like way better than that other version, in my opinion. Like, it is significantly improved in terms of its paint applications and artistry. So again, it goes to show you, like, with not just us as a panel, but with the community being so critical of Hot Toys over the years, it's amazing the detail that we criticize now versus what we would have been willing to criticize in the past. Like, when we looked at this figure from 2018, I remember thinking back then, wow, that looks pretty damn good. And now seeing it in comparison, I'm like, holy shit, that one looks like a toy. This one looks like actual Mark Hamill on the screen. That's freaking wild. So if you do like this character, either Luke and or you like the movie and or both, yeah, there's people that will definitely buy this. And will it sell out? 100%. But will it sell out just so people can say that it's sold out, or do they actually really want it? I don't know. What do you think, Philly?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna probably do a very small batch number, and it'll show that it sold out, But honestly, a lot of people, that are gonna get it are the ones that are just tempted on the craftsmanship and how well executed it was. The head sculpt is amazing. It has movable eyes. The hair, even the hair and the seams in the hair, the lines in the hair look really good. And I personally like this look. I thought it, if the film, which is a totally separate subject, which I'll be quick on it, if it would have been different and he would have been more of a badass with this, look, I think it would have been great. But unfortunately, it wasn't. So it was just a waste of a look. And I actually have this 1.0 and I like it. I chose this one over the crate version. I used to have the crate version and I sold the crate version and I kept this one because I thought it was just a more interesting look of Luke, kind of like a, nomad, cool Jedi. But again, I'm kind of intrigued, but it's not in my wish list. And there's other, we need a New Hope a New Hope Luke Artisan, and that's the one I'm looking forward to. It's long overdue. This one is just kind of getting in the way. And for those who want it, good for you. It's a cool figure. And for those who don't, let's just wait for the next one.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Dave, what were your thoughts on the Luke Skywalker? Was this the one that everybody was waiting for?
Oh, I'm getting this one.
Are you? Okay.
No, I don't fucking care about this. No.
Nope.
No,
that's fair.
No, hell no. This is nobody. Why? Why?
Look at those luscious locks, though, Dave. Come on.
That's fantastic. It's like, put it on fucking Zeb's pubes. I guess that would be a better choice here. Like, why?
Paint him purple,
why
baby.
is this the choice? Why is this? Why? What is it about this particular version of Luke that Hot Toys just had to make this one? Well, that doesn't make any kind of sense at all. I don't know, man. I feel like, maybe it was 420, I guess, and they're like, hey, guess what? They like their joints too, I guess. I don't know, man.
No,
Like,
they like their joints too. Fair.
there were some magic mushrooms or something going on in the Hot Toys offices when they came up with this idea.
Yeah, but your science
It's just said it just,
whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
yeah, that. Like, they could have done so many other things, and it's like, this is the choice. Okay, right, sure, all right. They could have done a Qui-Gon with Artisan hair.
Yeah.
Everyone wants that.
Yeah, literally. Everybody
this
wants
is what they did
for years. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys think that there will be any more Star Wars announcements then in the next coming weeks here? Do you think that there are going to be more, especially with Mando and Grogu? Do you think that they've tapped out? What do you guys think here?
Yeah, I think we're going to see something this week. I think, as we head into the weekend, I think there will be at least one more, if not a few more. And in terms of Mando and Grogu, I think we could get a Sigourney Weaver figure, particularly. They clearly have her likeness, because they're certainly hinting that they're, as we talked about earlier, it appears they're going to be doing another Ripley. She's older now, but they still have her likeness. So I think we could see a figure of her in an X-wing pilot, because I believe there's a Star Wars Black Series of Sigourney Weaver in an X-wing pilot that's been out there. So
okay.
I think that's likely.
Interesting. Adam Doom says Count Dooku 2.0 coming, book it. All right, you saw it here first. Adam Doom called it out. Yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't post that up with that Yoda as well. Actually, but that first Dooku sculpt was pretty amazing. But kind of like we were just saying about this Luke sculpt, it was amazing for its day. If we saw it in comparison to today's technology and painting, are we going to go, holy crap, I didn't think they could improve it, but they did. So interesting thoughts there. Guys, that is the show today. Just a reminder, and again, sorry to hammer this home today, but I wanted to make sure you guys are aware, especially if you just joined in at the end of the show, because the Ben Thomas Show was demonetized. If you were a channel member, that membership no longer exists until at least July 5th. I am going to reapply at that time. Unfortunately, I only had AI to work with, and the AI people just auto-rejected my appeal without any actual review, which really, really sucked. So as a result, if you want to support the show here, channel members and or just folks that enjoy watching the Ben Thomas Show, any donation to the Buy Me Coffee link here will go back towards the channel, whether that's the cost of StreamYard so we can have higher definition streaming, and or figure giveaways and all of the above. If and when we reach a $500 amount, we are at about $110 right now, which is awesome. So thank you guys to everybody who supported me today. Once we hit 500, we will do a figure giveaway on Let's Get Nuts, and whoever is in the show that day will be the ones that are included in the draw, because as of right now I can't cherry pick channel members. So keep watching on Sundays when we pop up. It's been difficult for me to do a weekly show. It's always my intention to do a weekly show, but life happens, and sometimes I'm just not that enthused by the news either, if I'm honest, and I'm not going to fake it for you guys. If I'm here and I'm passionate, it's because I'm interested, I'm excited, or I'm pissed off. But either way, if it's on here, I want to share my thoughts. If I'm like neutral all the time, like who wants to watch that shit? So if and when you guys see Let's Get Nuts posted, be here, enjoy it with us. Get nuts on a Sunday. I love your faces. Thank you guys for being here, and thanks again for buying me a coffee. Either way, instead of YouTube monetization, screw YouTube monetization. All that to say, though, my esteemed panelists and guests, I love your faces. Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Adam, anything coming up on the One Adam 12th YouTube channel that we can be excited for, buddy?
Ben, great to be back this week, and Philly and Dave, always great to join you guys. I just want to echo support the Ben Thomas Show. Buy him a cup of coffee, will you? Because Ben does so much for the community, and we really appreciate everything you do.
Really like coffee.
We need justice for you, because what happened with YouTube demonetizing you, that was so unjust. So we definitely want to support you as you're going through this. In terms of my channel, I just got this guy. This is the Daredevil Born Again.
Hell yeah.
Season 1. I really like this figure a lot, so check out. I have a short unboxing review on that. And I ripped off Zord Photography, Patrick, on this. Actually, his awesome video and pictures sold me on buying it. I was on the fence, and I saw his and pulled the trigger, and I told him like, I am gonna steal this pose because this is what sold me. So, I'm always happy to join you, and whenever you're back, because I'm not working, family obligations, I'll be here. And in terms of my schedule, next Friday, I'll be hopefully with Dave on movie talk, on the movie canon, figure talk with Geo, and I think we're going to be talking Star Wars figures in advance of May the 4th.
Hell yeah, absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for being back. Always appreciate it, and your kind words and support. And that goes to everybody, to everybody who's sent me really wonderful messages on the demonetization thing. Again, the biggest thing that I wanted to share was less about the money thing. It was a lot more about, I just like making videos for you guys. I like doing this. And so it would suck if YouTube shadow banned the channel. So suddenly these videos aren't even being shown to everybody anymore. Like that would be way worse. I can come up with it out of pocket if I need to. It's the engagement and the fun that I have making the videos for you guys, and then the chats that go back and forth, right? So far it doesn't look like that's happened, but we'll see as it progresses. But either way, please go and support Mr. 1Adam12 on his YouTube as well. Lovely dude over there, and they try really hard. And awesome figure, man. That makes me want to get that figure, if I'm honest. I'm still really trying to hold off because I do think they're gonna maybe give us a red suited one with the DDs, but
I think so too.
We'll find out.
I couldn't wait.
Absolutely. Mr. Philly Z, thanks for being back, buddy. That was a longer show than I know you were anticipating. I know you said you might have had to jump off early, but I'm glad we had you for the whole damn show today, buddy. Anything coming up for you, man, that we can be excited for you about?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, and it's always great to catch up. And of all of us, I just feel terrible that this happened. The whole situation happened to you. You're one of the best, and you're a great part of the community. And hopefully, it gets better for you. We're always here for you, and you're always here for us. So thank you again, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Thank you for having me. And for me and my channel, right now, I did a recent unboxing and review for Caustic Plastic, which I'm working with them, and it's called London After Midnight, Lon Chaney, 1/6 scale figure. This thing is just coming out, so it's beautiful craftsmanship. It's very creepy, and it's creepy in a good way. But
in a good way,
check out the review. They did an excellent job. It's their second figure with movable eyes, and it has some synthetic hair, which is a good thing to look forward to when it comes to the Crow, what's coming up soon, and other figures from them. Check out my review. It's on my YouTube. And thanks again for having me, and good catching up. Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. 100%. Mr. Dave, X-Men Supreme, thanks for your hot take on the Wolverine today. Not as hot as I expected, if I'm honest. You must have had a chance to cool down a little bit, but well said thoughts today, buddy, and always a good laugh with you, my friend. Anything coming up for you that you can be, or that we can be excited for you on?
The Philly came in with the positivity, and I felt bad. So
there you go. Should have let you go first.
But,
hate to see it.
But no, man, it's always fun to come on here, and I love you to death, man. It's good to be here with you. It's I'm gonna be. I should be home in time tomorrow to collect the figures with the beams and everybody over there. And let's see, that so Sabretooth is in the wind, so that'll be showing up at some point here. So that'll be fun.
Sweet.
I hear Philly's got plans for that. But yeah, that and Geo stream on Friday. I'll be there for that. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh man, that's crazy. Okay. So all right.
Really quick, I told them that I'm going to use a Homelander head sculpt for the Sabretooth custom, because I think Homelander would have been a great Sabretooth. That's just, anyways, go ahead.
The actor.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'd rather see him as Sabretooth as well than I can't do the boys. Y'all, I tried. I can't do it. But I can't do it. It's just too. It's just. Oh god! It just. It's so hard to. It's so hard to see. No, I don't know. We don't need to get into it. But it's great to be here, and and as many times as you'll have me, I'll be back. So
Always, man. Always,
Buy the
always,
copies.
always. Dude. Buy the coffees. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you as always. And of course, if you guys are here, the 53 still watching with us, if this is your first time to the show, this is the Ben Thomas Show. We have fun here, lots of figure previews, shorts, Let's Get Nuts podcasts, all of the good things, of course. But all that to say, if you don't mind, hit the like button on your way out the door today, guys. It would definitely make a difference. Pump the video out to all the folks who have never seen it before so you can get nuts with them too. And all that to say, guys, I love you faces, Mr. Adam, Mr. Dave, Mr. Philly. We got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where's I go? What do I do? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's gone. It's all gone.